At night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling them wrong. You got me like, oh yeah. I think that we've all had enough. They know that we're calling it wrong. Hey, it's too late to try to go contain it. A generation fueled by creation. We live lives on a small screen nation. We control the airwaves, no negotiation. I refuse to think we need saving. Something good will come from creation. And when we think that the world is too anxious, we'll adapt, evolve, survive, and save it. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling them wrong. You got me like, oh yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling them wrong.
Nobody is coming to save you. Get up. Be your own hero.
All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Afternoon. We're early today because we have a special guest here today. Someone I met on Facebook here recently. And of a different flavor than what we're used to. Absolutely 100%. I was talking to them backstage prior to the show. Very pleasant person. Sal from South Africa. And also someone, a sky watcher. So very, very respectful. They had a post that they'd put on Facebook that said, I would like to talk to a genuine flat earther. And I says, I'm available. So we set this up more than 10 days ago to accommodate because we've got a serious time difference. I think it's like 7 hours, something like that. And so we set it up. I've been looking forward to this. And after talking to her for a little while backstage, this should be a pretty good show. I think it's going to be good. I know we were used to a debate, but actually this is more going to be a discussion because I found that this person doesn't lose their shit, at least so far. So I think this would be a very good, a pleasant thing to have going on. Let me just start this here real quick. I'm going to go through the chat here real quick and make sure who we got here. We got Anson Howard, Annette's here with us. Zulu 1, Charles B, Unindoctrinatex, that's new. Zulu 1's with us. Good to see you, my friend. Trip Canada, Melodome, what's up, brother? Conspiracy Music Guru, of course, our moderator from everywhere, ZXL Master. Chilling's here. It looks like Christos is with us too. Good. So Glenn Salch, everybody with us. 4 Jacks. All right, good to see everybody's popping it in here. So with no further ado, I'd like to welcome my guest is Southern Sal or Sal Chetty on Facebook. And let me bring him up to the stage here. What's happening, Sal?
Hey, how's it going?
It's going great. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I live in Pretoria, South Africa, and I work where I live. Basically, it's literally 20 meters from where I live. So I walk to work in like 1 minute. But
Oh,
we
nice.
sell animal feeds. I live all around here are farms and lodges and wild animals, and it's awesome.
We have a good friend of the
Everyone
channel
has a
from. I said we have a good friend of the channel is from South Africa. Flatzoid's Perspective. Are you familiar with Flatzoid?
Yes, I've heard about him. We have not interacted very much. I think I might have left a comment or two on his videos, but personally, we've not spoken to each other.
Wow. Well, he runs a pretty good show. Maybe he'll have you on one of these times. In fact, he might pop on here and say howdy. Who knows?
That'll be very nice.
It would. Yeah, he's a good
I don't
guy.
usually like to fight and stuff, and I've seen him, argue with some other people.
Oh yeah. Well, some of the people that he gets are the ones we were talking about, like backstage. These people that come on completely angry with a chip on their shoulder, and their whole thing is, and this is what I've noticed: when they don't have a point, then they have to resort to the mockery, and of course, as I always call it, fake space. So that's where I see him going with this. And so, as the audience has probably pretty much guessed and understand, you are a globe proponent. In other words, you believe that the Earth is a globe. So maybe you can kind of just give us your reasons behind that.
All right. So up until about June 2018, I never had like a smartphone. I didn't know that there were people out there who have all these ideas. I thought there were things that were, I would say, set in stone, like the shape of the earth, its journey around the sun, and things like that. And I never really, I probably took it for granted. I never really thought about it until I got a smartphone in June of 2018. And then I got YouTube and I started watching. Okay, I'm always late to the game of everything. So that's just how my life is. So I started watching and I watched a few channels. And unfortunately, for the flat earth side, I didn't get a flat earth video. I got it from the globe side, I would
Right.
say. And the arguments, like a lot of the arguments were, oh, I know that thing. I know that thing. And at that time, Nathan Thompson and all those guys were screaming, do your own research, bro. I don't know if you remember that, but he
Yeah.
was screaming at everybody to do their own research. And, I was a person of very little means back then. So I wondered, what can I do from my perspective? I live in South Africa.
Mhm.
Flat earthers say, so many things about the Southern Hemisphere. So I said, okay, what can I use? What is the simplest thing that I can do to start my experiment? And I decided, okay, every day at 5 p.m., I will take a photo of the sun.
Oh, neat.
And in between, I didn't know anything about time lapse or anything. And then I got a Hong Kong phone. I don't know if you know what a phone, it's sort of like a slang in South Africa for a fake. So it was a fake of a smartphone. And
Okay.
this fake had a time lapse setting on it. And then I thought, oh, let me see what this does. And at that time, I didn't know I didn't know that you gotta set the time and the thing will film, like, according to the time on the phone. And It was really bad. But I learned a lot, and I've been taking the photo of 5 p.m. now for just over 5 years. I've kept up with it. It's something in my life that I've been consistent with.
So
So I have
have you gotten like have you actually like been able to superimpose them or anything? Like if you do it every
no,
day, like at the same
no,
time
I'm
get an
actually very
analemma?
bad when it comes to technology and editing videos and doing composites and yeah, I'm actually, that's why I stick to my cell phone. I'm talking to you on my laptop right now,
Mm-hmm.
but to make my videos I usually use my phone, because on the phone you get so many thousands of apps that you can just use, edit your video, but you cannot make um, a proper response video. There's no that thing of, cutting and then splicing yourself in, and then there's nothing like that. With maybe there is, I just haven't found it. It's much of a spiel to make a video like that on the cell phone. I'm only now trying to learn how to do one on the laptop. So yeah,
See,
we'll see what I can achieve.
that would be really cool if you could do that because you've already set up to you, and I'm assuming you're photographing like from the same location at the same time,
Oh
and
yeah,
that's going to give
yeah,
you your analemma. And I was going to
yeah.
point out because I want to kind of get into the analemma as well. That's interesting, and I think to me kind of shows a level plane with the path of the sun over a spheroid on a tilt, and there's a lot of reasons behind that. But I wanted to ask you, so how did you come to the idea first off? And this is, I always ask people this, that the Earth was a globe. Did you come to that idea on your own, or was this told to you at some point in time?
I have no idea. I didn't even think about it. I look back on my childhood and going to school, and I don't ever remember having a globe in the classroom. We I remember having these giant world maps on each of the classroom's walls. And I don't think even me myself had a globe Earth. I didn't even think it was not a globe Earth. I don't know if you can understand what I'm saying. I didn't think that anybody else thought it was something else. It was very weird. Yeah,
Right,
I don't remember somebody, sitting me down and telling me, "Hey, the Earth is a globe," and
right.
not anything else.
Well,
Yeah, I actually don't remember.
here in the United States, it's pretty much and it's used everywhere. And what it's called is embedding. Okay, so like even here in our classrooms, you can go into a kindergarten class, and they have these are kids that are like 5 years old, and they have, like you're saying, the world maps on there, usually a Mercator projection map that they can pull down from like a movie screen and then put it back up. And there's always a globe though. And you see this all the time. And eventually somebody says, "What is this?" A kid will ask, "What is this?" Every kids are always asking questions. And of course, the teacher, having learned the same way, says, "Well, this is where you live, little Billy. This is where you live at." And you're like, "Oh, wow, that's kind of strange," because I can remember that. And of course, the big question is, how do people not fall off? And the answer is going to be gravity. And so this is what I say is that the idea of a spherical Earth is introduced to people. If nobody went through an education system like we have and was just doing their life daily, they're having day, they're having night, they're having seasons, they go to the ocean, everything. They're just having a regular life. I don't think there's one thing that would ever make anybody say, "Hey, I think this is a big ball." Nothing in their experience would actually think that. And that's why nobody ever did until it was introduced to them by philosophers that were pretty much obsessed with the writings of Hermes Trismegistus, or also known as Thoth. You see this even reborn during the Reformation in the 1500s from the Catholic
I
Church.
have no idea.
Okay.
What I know. So
Well,
what happened?
what it was is basically this. They came up with this radical idea that completely went against what the word of the day was, the Holy Bible. And they're going, wait a second, this goes completely against, how could Joshua command the sun to stand still? How could the sun stand still if the earth is what's moving? You didn't say make the earth stand still, that kind of thing. And so this is where this whole thing really started getting heated up. And so these Jesuits that were also immersed in the teachings of Hermes came forth, and you had Newton and Copernicus and Galileo, right? And so this has been cleverly crafted, and it does go back to that. But one of the things I like to point to is the scientific impossibilities of a globe Earth.
And that's
And
why I didn't use any of the, like NASA says, or
right,
I don't know, whoever, did this thing or that thing. I looked outside and I thought, okay, what is the thing that all of us experience? And that just happens to be the sun.
right.
And that's how I ended up picking the sun.
Mm-hmm.
And coming back to your analemma, unfortunately, where you are on the earth, will dictate how your analemma is going to be. My analemma is a very lopsided figure eight,
Sure.
and it's small on the right. It's sort of like um, big on the left and up, and small on the right and down, with the that crossover of the eight, the middle point of it being sort of above west, but it's very lopsided and very fat.
So yours is like the one on the bottom.
But the opposite way and more,
Right.
like the fat side is more up and the small side is more down.
That's
So
right.
it's sort of like,
You see the opposite of what I do. We still get both. We both get the lopsided figure eight,
yeah,
both of us. And in the north,
yeah.
of course, we're going to get the
I
smaller
would
loop. And in the
I
south,
would love to be on the equator for maybe about a year to do that one and check, how they experience. Yeah, I mean it's a very good thing. I try not to miss it. Stormy nights are, very difficult.
right.
But and I've filmed Venus, Jupiter,
Mhm.
Mars not so much. It's not that visible. I can film Mercury easier than I can film Mars. I don't know why.
See, that's
And
odd because I have just the opposite. I can see Mars really easily a lot of the year. And
okay, and then what time is it for you there right now?
it is 12:24 p.m. just
Right.
afternoon.
And for me is 7:24 p.m.
Yep.
See. So we have a
Yep.
7-hour difference. Yours is just midday, mine is evening,
Mhm.
and my friend in Australia is sleeping right now.
Sure.
Yeah, she's sleeping. I think she's 8 hours or 8.5 hours ahead of me.
So
And
what I'm showing here though on this analemma as you can see, that if we were on a spherical Earth, the way that it's depicted, that analemma should be equal. It should be equal.
No, isn't that the tilt of the Earth then?
Well,
I mean, the Earth is tilted.
right, but that tilt, that would account. You would still have, because it's staying tilted, and as it goes around, you're having that tilt is being the other way. That's why you're supposedly having summer right now, and we're having winter. But so the analemma should actually be the same, and it should actually apex over the equator, but we don't have that. In fact, like we just pointed out, yours is upside down to mine. It's always going to be bigger in the south, if past the equator, than it is north, and it's all due to. Are you familiar with how the sun circuits on a flat Earth model?
I have no idea at all. All I've
Okay.
heard is it doesn't set, which
Okay.
I've filmed more than 1,000 sunsets.
Sure.
I've
Sure.
literally done sunsets, and then the opposite. You know, I wake up the next morning and I go film the sunrise.
Right.
I've
Right.
done that over and over and over again, and I don't. Sorry to say, but I don't understand it. If you can explain it to me, maybe I will understand
Okay.
it.
What I want to do is I'm going to bring up a map here. Let me see if I can bring up a good depiction of it. Let's see, a map of the world, and this should be able to give us just. No, that's all I wanted was. Well, they give you everything except for what exactly you're looking for. All right. Okay, I think this one might work. We could use this Gleason's, I think. And I'll save it so we can zoom in on it. All right. Let me bring that up real quick. All right, here we go. Sorry about that. It takes me a minute to get this stuff.
No problem at all.
Let's see. Here we go. Okay. So we have the two tropics, of course. We've got this one right here. I don't know if you can see my cursor on here. Just at the tip of Florida is the Tropic of
I can
Cancer.
see your cursor. Yes.
Okay, so that's the Tropic of Cancer. Now that's the northernmost tropic. And then, of course, the equator, as we get to here, we come across the equator. And then right down here, we have the Tropic of Capricorn. So what the sun does when it's in the north, it circles around. If you can imagine a spiral, think like a record, like an LP record, on a turntable. And it goes from the Tropic of Cancer, and it starts on the 21st of June, and then it slowly starts moving outward or toward the south as it goes around, kind of like in a spiral, all right, a real tight spiral. And then by the equinox, of course, it's right over the equator. And then it continues south through the months until 3 months later in December, it's over the Tropic of Capricorn, right? Then it stays there, like doesn't move in its northerly procession until like 3 days later, or at least it doesn't appear to. And then this is the risen sun has died and is reborn. The risen sun is reborn on the 25th of December and starts moving north again. And then, of course, 3 months later, it's going to be right directly over the equator. And then 3 months later, it'll be directly over. We're back at June again. So that's during that 365 days.
So can I just ask? So in your understanding, the Earth is still, and it's the sun that is moving.
Correct.
Okay, so what stops the sun and then changes its trajectory to the opposite direction?
It's not really going in the opposite direction. What you're seeing on that is because of where its apparent location is at as it's coming back in. it starts to retrace its steps, only just the opposite. Okay. And it's coming back in. And this is why, of course, you're going to have tighter circuits in the north, which accounts for the small loop on the analemma in the north. And you're going to have the larger circuits in the south, which is going to give you your bigger part of your analemma on there. Okay. So when the sun is actually going away from you, just like everything else, due to our hyperbolic vision, what I mean by that, we see in 3D perspective. One of the tricks that can fool you is when you're trying to depict a sunset using two-dimensional geometry.
But I'm literally watching the sun go down. It's not like disappearing off into the distance.
It actually
going down.
It's not really going down. It's only going down as per your perspective. Okay. Just like if you're looking down a long
I don't understand how.
Okay.
If the sun is not doing it and the earth is not doing it, then what's doing it? You see, something's got to be moving. It's either I'm moving or the sun is moving.
Right. The sun is moving. The sun is moving.
So I'm not moving.
No, you're not moving. You're not moving. Everything in the sky is rotating above you. Everything, and it's a perfect clock. The sun
above me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. This is the first time I'm speaking to somebody with these, like actually explaining it to me, and I can't seem to understand everything rotating around me. Like, there's like a few stars that does not set at all. They just, do circles in the sky.
Right.
But everything else rises and sets.
Well, it's like this, Sal. If you think about, have you ever looked down a really, really, really long hallway?
No. Okay. I've looked down a really, really, really long road.
Okay. So the road kind of rises up in front of you as though it's coming up, and the sky comes down. And actually, the left comes into the right, and the right comes into the left. Everything comes in. We see in a hyperbolic state. This is why things get smaller and appear smaller as they go away from you. Not because they're actually getting smaller, but because they're
that's angular away, size.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
And that's another thing that you see when I first started this. I didn't care about all the concepts behind everything. Why would I care? And then every time a flat earther mentioned something, I would write it down and go look it up and see if what they are saying, is really happening outside.
Right.
In reality.
Let me do something here with this.
And your peoples just seem to love, or should I say, hate gravity.
Well, gravity's a hot contention, and here's why. Here's one of the biggest reasons why. It's never been proven. Now, they try to slip it into everything as though it's real. But in all reality, it's never been proven. And they've taken this concept, this theory, and then applied it to other things that they don't have any idea what they are or anything else. They just assume. Okay. So what I mean by that is you'll hear people say, well, yeah, I can prove gravity. Look, I can drop this and it falls. Well, okay, that's an effect. That's your observed effect. Okay. But what's causing it? You see?
The mass of the earth. The mass of the earth is causing it.
But there's no proof of mass attracting mass.
But haven't you heard of like the Cavendish?
Yeah, that was neither scientific nor is it an experiment.
That's like done in every university.
Yeah, I know.
So is it a ruse? Tell
Yes.
me, is it a ruse that these people just go and waste their time and, use the discoveries to come up with all these nifty inventions that we have? I mean,
Well,
imagine
the
um,
inventions, though, Sal,
30 years ago when you were a teenager, young man,
uh-huh.
you did you imagine sitting 30 years later and talking to somebody across the ocean, as if
Actually, I
we
did.
are in the same room?
Actually, I did. I mean, I knew that that if man can conceive it, he can eventually achieve it. Okay, and I was like, well, sure. Look at the advancements we've got. Even Marconi sending a signal of radio across the ocean. Okay, that's cool. And then we're seeing more and more advancements with that. And I can remember in the 70s talking to my friends saying, when we're adults, we'll be able to have some kind of a device that we'll be able to contact anywhere, to anybody on the earth that we want to at any given time. I said, it's just a matter of time till we get there. You'll see it. And I mean, I saw it coming. So I did imagine that. Absolutely. But
I didn't care about it.
well, the thing
um,
is about with gravity, though, right? And this is the big trick. This is the big trick with it, right? Cavendish. So this is all the better we've gotten since the 1700s is a parlor trick. So basically, what you got to do when you have a scientific experiment, in other words, you observe something and you think to yourself, okay, this is occurring and this is why I think it's occurring. So then you set up an experiment. Now, within an experiment, you have to have an independent variable, a dependent variable, and of course, controls.
yeah, and you know who I learned that from?
Who's
You
that?
want to know who the hell I learned that from?
Who's that?
I bloody learned that from Sleeping Warrior. Sleeping Warrior
Okay.
was banging on and on and on about your independent variable, and I was thinking, okay, so
I'll
every
break it
day
down.
at 5 p.m. I will do this, and I will have my I don't know, my time basically, but on a different day. So I thought, okay.
Real quick, Sal. Um, Ryan, burn the corporate fiction. I can't. It's not coming to my head. What's that Jesuit thing? Studia. It's about learning about nothing. It's teaching people a whole lot about nothing. And what's the term I'm looking for? If you could help me out in that. But
I have
no,
no idea.
yeah, I'm asking
A
one of
lot
my
of these
chat.
concepts and ideas and conspiracies and these stories,
Yeah,
I have not encountered them. I mean, I do live in South Africa.
yeah.
We are concerned with survival and stuff. There's no
Absolutely.
time to fight the flat earth or argue with creationists about the
Right.
6,000-year-old earth and things like that, because people are trying to make a living.
Well, and so here's the problem with the gravity thing, right? So as we were talking about, you have to have a dependent variable, independent variable, and control variable. So in this case, the dependent variable is the object. Okay. The independent variable is gravity, or what you suspect to be gravity. Now, in order to determine that, we have to manipulate or modulate the independent variable in order to determine that that is indeed the cause. Now, another problem we have to look at too is most often people are looking for a one-step solution. Things fall because of gravity, right? Okay, well, no. Right?
Yeah, but also, like, I don't know how you feel about the moon and its properties and whether we landed on it or
No,
whatever.
no.
Um, but gravity does depend on mass. So
Mm.
obviously, the larger the mass, the more pull it will have.
All right. Well,
So
if that were actually true, then the largest piece of furniture in my house would grab
no,
up the most amount of
no,
dust.
uh-uh. You know
Why?
why? Because
Why?
every single thing on the earth is subject to the earth. So your heaviest piece of furniture or the biggest piece of rock
Mhm.
that you can maybe try and hook to a
But that
crane
big
or
piece of
something.
furniture has gravity, right?
Yes, yes, it has mass, but its mass is overcome by the mass of the earth.
Ah, all right.
You
So
see, so there's
what
so
happens though?
much of the earth
What
and
if I
not
told
enough
you?
of your furniture.
What if I told you I could manipulate all of that merely by changing the medium? In other words, we're in
Yes, absolutely.
right. Okay, so that's where it all depends. That's
Yeah,
what it
like
is.
if you
It's
take a,
nothing
I
more.
don't
It's
know, a
not.
thing of
It's
steel and, but if you are doing the experiment
uh huh.
on the earth,
Uh huh.
that whole entire experiment is going to be subject to the earth's mass.
But that's only a
Unless, like
theory.
even they say, I don't know if you think that the ISS is real, but on the ISS is microgravity. There's not no gravity.
Yeah, there
If
is.
that
Look, I'm up
ISS
there.
stops moving,
I'm
if
up there
that
right now.
ISS stops, if that ISS stops moving, it's gonna
Uh-huh.
come crashing down to
Uh,
Earth, towards the Earth, I should say. I don't want to fluff to clip my my words and say I said down. I'm
I
sorry.
don't think you're
I know.
gonna. I don't think you're gonna get a lot of trolls, Sal. You're a different sort. You definitely are a different sort than what we're used to. I can tell you that. I mean, and I
Thank
mean
you.
that in
I've
a good
been
way.
waiting to, I don't want to fight with you. I just want to show
Right.
you what I've learned and then
Mhm.
listen to what you've learned, and then that's it. You know, we go our separate ways. And I mean, okay, I saw somebody ask this question: what would it really mean, whatever the shape of the earth is? Right. Yeah, I understand like space exploration, and these people have all these major dreams of, I don't know, colonizing Io or something. It's way into the future. That's not something that, I understand the planning and stuff, but that's not something that's going to happen maybe
No,
in our kids, grandkids' lifetimes.
listen.
So
I've had people say before, on here. Oh man, I would go to Mars in a heartbeat. And I'm thinking to myself, why would you want to? If you could, why would you want to do that? I mean, have you ever been on a transcontinental flight? Okay, 8 hours,
I've
10
never
hours
been
on
on
an
an
airplane.
aeroplane.
Oh man, I can only imagine being cooped up with some people in a little thing for several months, eating dry packet food. Then you get there and you have to live in some kind of a little enclosure. What are you gonna do? How are you gonna eat? I mean, I can't imagine a more horrific.
Probably you're gonna have to procreate as fast as possible to
Oh,
get the next generation going. Look, I mean, I care about it. It's not that I don't care about it. I'm
right,
glad that there are people adventurous enough to do those things, but we have problems. You know,
right.
in
Well,
my
here's the
country
biggest
alone,
problem. It's
a couple
hopefulness.
million children go to bed hungry every night, and there are homeless people and drug addicts and
Yeah,
the drug dealers doing
yeah.
their thing, and then you've got the traffickers, and we have real on the ground problems.
Well,
And
part of
the
it though,
billionaires
Sal,
spend
is
time with their thoughts in the
people
clouds.
people need to free their minds to get out of that kind of thing. And part of the reason that their minds are trapped is because of the crap that's been put into their heads. Now, the whole thing about this hopefulness that they have about, oh, we're shitting in our own bed, so we have to go find some other bed to go shit in. I mean, that's basically instead of taking care of what we have here, like you say, right? There's this hopeful idea that we're going to go to space and we're going to go colonize other planets if such a thing actually existed, right? But the reality of it is, nobody's going to get out of here. Nobody can get out of here. We're enclosed. There is
Okay,
nowhere.
your chat is very rude, hey?
Why? Who's
I
talking?
am actually a very nice person. I am
Yeah.
not I have not done anything to anybody. I've not said anything nasty.
Who is
Uh,
talking? Who said something?
and somebody
Who
is
said?
saying that
Who
I
said
can
something,
use
Sal?
giggling to seem genuine. Yeah, I have come across many people that speak this way, using giggling as a way to seem genuine.
Nervous
That
laughter. Yeah.
that is disgusting.
Yeah, you all knock that shit off. Sal's Jen. Okay, she's genuine, man. This is cool. This is the type of person we're looking to talk to. All right. Um, yeah, Dr. Bass Ackwood said you sound genuine. Ryan said he's sorry. All right, we'll let that go then. Um, but what I'm trying to say, Sal, is nobody's ever going to get out of here. And here's the one big problem we have. We're contained. How would they get through the containment? Now, I know a lot of people think, no, we're not. And I'm like, we have to be, or you and I would not be having
Okay,
this conversation.
how far is the containment? I actually don't like that word. The argument about the container
Hmm.
really confuses me, because containers don't occur naturally. It's something we made. We decided to contain the gases that we wanted to use. So containers don't occur in nature,
Actually, they do.
unless you want to, say dams, or I mean like lakes or something. But
Sure, that's a good example. That is a good example. But the reality of is this: it is impossible to have gas pressure without containment. That is
yes,
completely
that
impossible.
is agreed.
All right.
That is an agreed point. But what I want you to understand is, I don't see the need for a planet. Remember, we are a planet,
Hmm.
right? Whether we are flat or round or what,
Mm.
I don't see a planet needing to be contained. Unless you want to have it like a Dyson sphere or something.
Hmm.
I don't know. A Dyson sphere just sounds preposterous to me. Unless you
Well,
want to go
here's I
full
think I think
sci-fi.
I see the disconnect. I think I see the disconnect. All right. So first off, you get this the whole heliocentric planets in space and the revolving around the sun. You got to just forget that. Nobody thinks that. Not in the flat Earth. We do not believe we're out in space as a flat disk or something floating around. Okay. We are the center of everything. The Earth is the center of everything. Okay. Everything is going around us. We're not moving at all.
I don't know, man. I don't think I can have that level of certainty. I think that if
It's
there
too
are
popular.
other, okay, where do you think, if it's not in space, where is it?
I
Like, if
think it's
there's no
in a
space and there's no, okay, are there other planets?
Well, what do you think of, first off, what's your definition of a planet? Because there's definitely something there. We
All right,
refer to them as
let's say
planet.
that the thing that we live on is the planet. That's what we describe as a planet. Do
Okay.
you think that there are others like this out there,
No,
inside the dome or whatever?
no, there's, okay. First off, planets. What is a planet? A planet, planatia, comes from the word meaning a wanderer. Okay. It's a star that's not in a fixed position. The other stars are in fixed positions and they move around the earth. It's perfect clockwork precision. Everything is perfect. We have
Okay, so all right. So let me ask
let
you
me
this
hold on, let
question.
me hold on, let me finish explaining, okay?
I
So
have
we
to write
have
it down.
the sun going around in its circuit slightly faster than the moon, so that about every 28 days the sun laps the moon, and every 28 days the constellations lap the sun. And so we're in a different zodiac, so to speak. We're in a different zodiacal house every 28 days. It's like a perfect clock. Now, a ball going around the sun, okay, we got to figure these movements here. We're doing 67,000 miles an hour around the sun with a equatorial speed of 1,000 miles an hour or so as we rotate. Meanwhile, the sun is moving perpendicular to those movements at about 500,000 miles an hour away from the center of the Milky Way.
Yeah,
Yet,
I'm not afraid of the numbers.
yeah, see, the thing
The
is,
numbers don't scare me.
well, see, that's the thing though,
Uh,
with those numbers.
your people want a definition of planets.
Okay.
I'm too old to give them a definition of planet. The planet is the thing that what we live on. That's what we call it. I don't care about conspiracies and stuff.
Mhm.
We only talking about this.
Right. Okay,
What do
so
we see while we are here? You see,
well,
your people are just they're just not behaving.
yeah,
They're not following our conversation, and they trying to direct you in a different way.
I'm not even paying attention to them. I'm paying
Oh,
attention to you. I'm paying
okay,
attention.
wonderful.
Yeah, I let them do their thing over there. I don't even have the time pay attention to them if I'm engaged in an
Okay,
interesting
wonderful.
conversation.
This is
So
getting nice.
I
Yeah.
would
So
suggest
carry
you do
on.
the
Sorry.
thing. Yeah, I'm
Yeah, as I
not
was
here.
saying, the numbers don't scare me.
Right. So what I'm getting at though is with that type of movement continuously, we still have the same fixed constellations in the same places at the same times all the time, which would be impossible on the model that's being suggested. I have
Okay,
a
but
little
from my
nice.
observations, they're not in the same place all the time.
They will
You
be
see?
year after year. What's going to happen though is you're going to get a procession. You're going to get a procession of those stars, so that it's going to go through a cycle that's incorporates what they call a great year. Okay. And what that is in other words, right, if once we get around to Pisces once again, that's going to be one great year. None of us will ever see it, of course, and no one that does see it will probably ever know that this conversation took place, because it's going to be thousands of years into the future. So I think it's every 2,160 years we move into another zodiacal house. Right now we're in Pisces, and we're getting ready to go into Aquarius. Prior to that, we were in Aries. Now, sometime during Aries must have been, which is 3,000 years ago or so.
I'm a Libra. When we gonna get there? Does Libra even have a constellation?
Yeah,
I
well,
haven't even looked.
so, but the thing is that these that makes the process of a great year. So it was somewhere around at least 3,000 years ago, probably longer, it'd have to be, that the tropics were actually named, because that's where the sun was at during the equinox, and that's how the tropics were named, Capricorn and Cancer. By all rights, today they're actually Sagittarius and Gemini, but we still call those tropics Capricorn and Cancer. Now, we wouldn't even have, if you figure over a course of 5,000 years traveling at those speeds through a void, we would have completely all different constellations at this point in time. So what they're doing is everything's rotating east to west, everything, the sun, the moon, the stars, and they're all doing it in clockwork precision. You live on a big clock, basically. And so the idea of a planet, this is another thing that was put forth by the teachings of Hermes, and then revived again by men like Copernicus and Newton to explain these
So,
things.
can I just ask then? That means you think those guys never did anything. They just, I don't know, sat around and thought, aha, let me, I don't know, steal from that guy. And
Yeah,
I don't know.
absolutely. I can quote to you that that's exactly from their own words of their mouth that that's exactly what they did. That's exactly
Yeah,
what
but
they did.
don't we all try and learn from the past?
But see, it wasn't science. They were going by philosophy. They were going by religion, by sun worship through Hermes. This is where they went. They were obsessed. Copernicus and Newton both obsessed with the writings and teachings of Hermes Trismegistus in the Emerald Tablets. Newton was more of an alchemist than a
Yes.
pseudoscientist than he was any kind of a
Wasn't
scientist.
he
The same
trying
thing
to
with
make
Copernicus.
gold or something? Or the
Well, that's
philosopher's
kind of
stone or
metaphorical.
whatever?
That's yeah. It's there's a lot of confusion in that.
I
This
don't know. I don't really care, because we are here right now.
right.
And right now we've got all these people doing all these things,
Hmm.
including making it possible for you and I to chat across the
Right.
world.
Which
I'm not
doesn't
saying
require a
around the
globe.
globe.
Which doesn't require a globe. You realize that, right? Right now, over on
So
in
how do you
Yemen,
think the sun is set for me and still up for you? Shouldn't we
because
all be able to? I mean, it's pitch dark here.
no, no, you wouldn't be able to. No more than a street light a mile down the road is lighting up your front yard. It's not
No, but I
going to.
can go to the street light right now. I
Sure,
can't literally go to you. All I
you
know is
could.
what you are telling me, that hey,
Right,
it's daylight for me now. How do
right.
I? How do we corroborate that?
Well, I can show you on my camera. I can turn off my green screen and shine the thing right out
Okay.
the window and show you it's daytime, of course. But the
Yeah.
reality, it's what you got to get out of the idea of is the idea of the sun being some uh 836,000 mile diameter ball of burning gas. Now that's another problem. Floating
But
out in a
it's
void
pitch
90
dark
degrees.
here. I
Yeah,
don't have an ounce of light. Where
that's right.
is? Okay, tell me, in which direction can I go now to try and find where the sun is? Because I can see stars. If I
Right
wait a
now,
couple of hours, Venus is going to rise and I'll be able to see it. The
yeah.
moon is here somewhere in the northwest.
Let
Where
me
can I go now to look for the sun?
well, let's
And
see.
I'm really asking because I've never gotten to speak to you guys before. All I hear are the other people screaming at each other.
Mhm. Well,
Now we
I would
can
say
explain to.
your best bet, seeing as how the sun is moving at 15 much faster than you could catch it, you would probably be best to travel west, and then you can see the sun because right now the sun is just almost over the equator, not quite. It'll be there next month, and then
Yeah.
right like about right in line with where the United States is at. So yeah, it's dark there, absolutely. And you should
Okay,
have
so
about
how
a
does the
are you seeing
sun?
a three-quarter moon? Probably a little bit to your north.
It's cloudy and lightning, and there's a
Yeah.
massive storm right now. I can't see a damn thing, even if I wanted to. I'm
So
usually out there looking for it. I'm always looking for things,
sure.
to see. Yeah, because I am making my own. I've got 60 pages, 60 months worth of 5 p.m., to show the procession of the sun at 5 p.m. from my perspective on the earth. I have it. I just don't know how to put it together. I'm still working on that.
Back up
But I've
just
got it written down in a file, you know. I see the sun disappear. It's literally pitch dark right now. And
sure.
I'm going to wait a few hours, 10, 9 hours, and I'm going to go find the sun on the other side.
All right,
How does
so
it get there from there to there? How?
it's going
Explain
around.
to me.
It goes around in a circle. It goes around in a great
No,
circle.
it's
Yeah.
setting,
Yes, I
darling.
know.
It's setting.
Yes,
It's
it's not. It's
setting.
not
It's
really.
going.
It's not really physically setting. Okay, it's
Okay,
not.
but then what? Where is it?
It's out of your sight
Why? Why is it out of my sight?
because it's too far away for you to see.
I thought
It's
it was a local sun.
it is. But all right, so
Come
all
on. Are
right.
you playing me? You are
Hold on,
playing me, right?
wait. All right. I'm just going to explain something to you. Have you ever watched it? I'm sure you have seen a airliner go over you, right?
Oh, all the time. I look
All
for
right.
it because flat earthers talk about it so much.
So what happens when it goes farther away from you? What do you see happening to the
It
airplane? Is it
I see it going down towards the
right?
ground.
Is it really going down?
No.
No, it's still at like 35,000 feet. But due to your
Yes.
perspective, now if you could see it long enough and the air was clear enough and you could see it for long enough, it would actually look like it landed on the ground. But in reality, it's still 35,000 feet in the air. It's just due to your perspective. And pretty soon, it's going to be out of your sight. Did the plane land
Okay.
yet? The plane didn't
All
land.
right.
It's out of
I
your
get
sight.
it. Right.
Okay.
Now, that plane, right, is still going.
Right.
It's going to its destination.
Right.
Right.
So the
And
people that it's
eventually
going
it's going to
for,
go out of my sight. I'm not going to
right.
be able to see it go, you know, after a certain, I think my visuals was 3 point something kilometers the last time
Mhm.
I checked. I tried to do one of those flat earth experiments where they look out over the Chicago skyline and say,
Yeah.
I don't know, 59 miles or whatever it is. So we've got the Hillbrow Tower, and that tower is only 269 meters tall.
Right.
And I was on my way to Joburg, and I was on the highway, and I spotted it in the distance, and I took a photo, and I was 12 kilometers away,
Hmm.
and only 5 meters of that tower was hidden from me. Okay,
Hmm.
so I understand perspective from that
Sure.
point of view.
Sure.
Okay, but with the sun, um,
There's Flatzoid.
how far forward west must I go in order to find it?
You're going to have to go halfway around the world right now.
Halfway around the world.
You're going to have to go well about maybe about a third of the way. Maybe about a third of the
Yeah.
way. If you went east, you'd have to go about 2/3 of the way if you went west. But you'd never catch it going east because it's going faster than you can travel.
So does the sun speed up and slow down?
Well, it would definitely the speed of it, the centripetal speed of it would actually would increase, just like on a 33 RPM record. The outside of that disc is moving much faster than the innermost portion of it, right? So, in order to keep up that RPM of what we have, or our rotational speed, 15 degrees an hour, 15 degrees at the southern latitudes is going to be a faster speed than it is at the northern latitudes. This is why you have
Why is that?
because in order for it to stay at the same uh, degree of rotation, or
Okay, so the is the flat earth round? Like, I don't know, like a pizza. I've heard it described like a pizza or like a dinner plate or something
I
like
don't
that.
I don't know. We seem to deal with a circular pattern, and this is based off of course, the sun. Is the entire thing round or square or whatever? I don't know. I've never been able to go anywhere past where you're allowed to be. So I wouldn't have any idea. I do know that the path of the sun and the moon and the stars are in a circular motion, and they are always going in a clockwise or east to west rotation every time. But
I don't
so
know,
that would
man.
account for circular patterns of
Around the like around the earth as if you're looking at a hula hoop, or around the earth as if you are on a merry-go-round.
well, a merry-go-round, but except the world spins and the merry-go-round stays still.
uh I can barely hear you now. Can you move closer to your mic because it's raining so hard here?
Okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah. Ah,
So
thank you.
yeah, there's just basically it's just basically circles over the earth in a spiral fashion from the between the tropics, back and forth, back and forth, back and
Okay,
forth.
so
And so because of that,
can
we
you
have
see, can you see Crux from where you are? I do understand that you can see it from like 10 degrees north,
can I
the
see
top
what?
part of Crux.
Crux? I don't know. I'm not an astronomer. I really am not. I
Okay,
just
because I
started
do
getting into
understand
it
that.
because I was going to show you this thing I got. Um, this is a bit of old tech. Let me get rid of this other screen just for a second. This is a bit of old tech. This is allows you to tell time at night, and it has this little hole up here in the top that you line up with Polaris, and then this one with a star that's in the Little Dipper, and you have this inner dial you set for the date that it is, and this will actually you can tell the time with this at night. It's like a sundial for at nighttime. But so I'm just starting to get into. I mean, I know where the North Star is. I know where the Big Dipper, the Little Dipper, and stuff like that is. But as far as avidly going out to look at the stars, not a whole lot. Flatzoid asked, "Where did I find Sal?" I found her in your neck of the woods, Flatzoid, on Facebook, and she said that she would like to talk to an actual flat earther, so I invited her on. So, yeah, pretty cool. I wanted to show you this sunset video, and this is what I'm trying to get at. We have a problem. People say, well, how come I still can't see the sun? Well, one is because it's not high enough for you to see as it travels far enough away from you. But we also have what's known as atmos opacity. And what that is basically murkiness of the air. And it's just like if you're in water, right? You have limited vision when you're underwater. You can stand up in a one end of a big, huge swimming pool, and you can see people standing down at the other end of the pool. If you immerse yourself underwater, you're not going to be able to see them. And this is due to the opacity of the medium. And so here at the lower levels where we reside at, we have the highest concentration of atmospheric gases that can be found anywhere on Earth. And that's mainly because this is where they're produced and they're undergoing a dissipation process. But we live in the thickest part of the soup, so we don't see as far. This is why you can see further on clear days, and on dry days, you can see a lot further. You get a lot less atmospheric refraction and magnification of things, distortion, that type of effect. So we can see further looking straight up than we can looking laterally. And it's mainly because you're looking through less of the soup when you look up than when you're looking forward. And so this changes all throughout the day. I've got a time lapse of a horizon line through the day, and you can see that horizon line changes due to the atmospheric opacity several times throughout the day. You're never going to get the exact same effect throughout it. And so consequently, as the sun moves away, if you're at a high enough altitude, you actually can see it fade out of existence. And this is a really good one. This is you can kind of watch this. Just give it a minute.
Was this a time lapse?
Yes.
But that is so out of focus. Okay, so where's the sun now?
So the sun has actually gone out of sight. It has just gone out of
Okay.
sight. It hasn't
So
actually gone
how
down.
does it come back?
It
How does it come back to come to the other side?
goes around in a great big huge circle. Goes around in a big huge circle from east to west. And then it's going to come back around. It's going to come up on your east side. And then it's going to come over top of you. And then it's going to
No, but
go
that
down.
one went straight ahead of you.
Yeah, he was looking
Like
west.
it's gone forward. Like it's
Yeah.
not going to either side.
Right.
How is
He's
it gonna come?
well, he's looking west.
And my
obviously.
brain is on overdrive trying to figure out how it's gonna come back to the east.
Okay, so he's looking west. That's what this film is, looking west as the sun moves away. Now, if he turned the camera around and waited long enough, you'd see the exact same thing happening, but from the opposite direction, and it would be coming toward you. That's all. It's just going around on a big circle. It's just going around a big circle. And you can't see it once it gets out of your sight. And then it comes back and you see it start coming
Okay,
back.
so
into
you
your sight.
and I. Okay, so we need to find another two people and divide this place into like quadrants, and
Mhm.
then each of us must, consecutively film the sun. I don't know, going away from them at
Mhm.
whatever time.
Well, it's doing
We
that at
need to do
everybody.
this. I'm willing to help you guys.
Mhm.
I don't mind doing the experiments with you guys.
Well, I mean, what we're looking at is, let me just cut this because this is just music anyway on this. But as we see it go out, I think he brings this back into view too with a zoom. I'm not sure if this is the one. But as it goes away from you, of course, it's going to go out of sight. Things aren't going over the horizon, they're going into the horizon. Everything goes into a vanishing, I call it a vanishing zone. In art, they call it a vanishing point. But I call it's more like a zone. See, did you see how it faded?
No, that's
See that?
somebody's Photoshop, guys. Come on, that doesn't
No,
happen
no.
to the sun.
Yes, it does. It
No,
actually,
that doesn't happen. I've been
you're
watching
not
sunsets
enough,
for the last 6 years.
not
That
enough
does
light.
never happen to the sun.
Have you been using a drone so that you can get up high enough to keep the
No,
sun
no,
in?
no, no. I don't want
That's
to.
okay.
No,
That's what
no.
this
It's
film
still
is.
literally pitched up. It's a pity I can't put my camera on because that will just mess with my internet. But
Right.
I wanted to show you how dark it is here. There's no indication. I mean, the sun is a bright ball of light.
Yeah. How big is it?
I don't know. From my perspective, with the solar filter, it's like zero point 0.5 pixels
All
or
right, but I
something
mean,
like that.
in reality, how big and how far away is this thing?
It must be really far away.
Why must it be very, very far away?
Because I've filmed the sun.
Yeah,
I've filmed the sun and I've seen it behave.
I've filmed a street light and watched it behave and zoomed in on
No,
it
but the
and zoomed
street
away
light
from
is
it.
not the sun moving across the sky.
Okay,
You
so
see, the
I
sun
can
is
film
the
an
street light
airplane.
is here on Earth. The sun is not here on Earth. It's doing its thing out
Oh, wait a
there.
minute. How do you
And I'm
know it's?
trying to understand
But
from
wait,
your
how do
flat
you
Earth
know that?
perspective.
How do you
Where
know?
I see it. I'm
You
looking
see
at
it?
it.
How?
Do you think it's CGI, or is NASA switching out the black sun or changing the light
No, no,
bulb,
no,
or
no.
I
We
don't
see the
know. I
sun,
don't
Sal.
know.
Sal, we all see the sun. Yes, there's no denying that the sun's there. But what gives you the idea that it's magnificently huge and magnificently far away? Where did that come from? What would give you that
Have
indication?
you felt the heat of the sun?
Yeah,
Like here, I think you must. Um, I heard you say that Flatzoid is your friend. Ask him to invite you to South Africa and feel the South African heat.
listen,
That's
honey. In the summertime, I get the heat from the sun here. But doesn't it stand to reason that the further something is from you, the less heat you're going to get from it, right?
not if its properties doesn't allow for that. I mean, if its properties allows it to be big and burny, you know,
Well,
why
what
not? What's stopping it?
what's giving us an indication that it's burning at all?
Yeah, no, I'm
All
just
we see
using
is a
that
point
word.
of energy. We
I,
see.
I do understand that it's nuclear fusion.
Okay, there's another problem. All right, that's
You
what
have a
we're
problem
told.
with nuclear fusion.
The sun. Yeah. Well, here's my big problem. Here's my big problem with the whole sun being in space. Okay. First off, how in the world does a mass of gases form together? They don't. The only
They
way
do.
that no,
They
they
are
don't. The
watching
only way a
they are
gas can
watching the
form,
nebulae right now.
the only way
You
that you
don't you
can,
don't you don't believe in the James Webb Telescope or the Hubble or
what do you
Discovery
mean, believe in
satellite
it?
or Parker
What do you,
Solar Probe or
wait,
any
wait,
of
wait,
those
wait.
things.
Let's stick
Sorry,
with
the
one.
rain is very hard, so you're gonna
That's all
have to
right.
shout at me a little bit.
That's all right. Okay, so let's just stick. First off, let's just stick to this line of thought here. Now, because we look at something and someone says this is what you're seeing, does not mean that that's what you're seeing. Okay.
Okay, but what if you look at it yourself and you see what it's doing? Then what are you gonna do?
Okay. I'm going to ask the question: how does a ball of gas form in any type of environment without a container?
Gravity.
No, gas doesn't have
Yes.
gravity. No,
No, it's
show
all
me gravity.
pulling
Show me
together.
anywhere in
Have
nature.
you never played pool?
Those are pool balls. Those aren't made of gas.
No, I'm asking. I mean, if you knock it a certain way, they're gonna bunch up in a certain way. I mean,
They're
have you tried to see? Okay, let's use an example here on Earth, right? When have you ever watched the clouds form and dissipate right in front of you?
Yes.
Yeah, what causes that?
Okay.
Pressure, right?
You wait,
Pressure.
wait, wait, wait. You just said the magic word, dissipate. Do you know how gases behave?
I don't know. It depends on the environment, most probably the
Well,
conditions.
okay, yes. Temperature,
What's
temperature
working
affects them.
for it
Temperature.
or against it?
Sure,
Sorry.
sure. Right. Temperature affects them. That's
So
for
you are
absolute
way too
sure.
soft right now.
Okay. So temperature affects gases. Absolutely. Absolutely. But gases are the molecules of a gas are not bonded. Okay. They're constantly moving around. They're constantly moving around and bouncing off of the edges of the container, causing pressure, right? And they bounce off each other. And then when there's no container, what they do is they escape. They don't bounce off anymore. There's nothing for them to bounce off of, so that we have this thing called dissipation. Gas will not form into a ball, especially in a vacuum, for any reason whatsoever.
But there's no real vacuum, right?
It doesn't
Space is
matter.
just very low pressure.
It
There's
doesn't
pressure.
matter. It doesn't
It
matter.
matters.
No, it doesn't, because gases cannot form into balls.
They can. They do.
Where? Show me one place where a gas forms into a ball.
All over the place. Just look
Where?
at the sun or look at other planets. You don't want me to use the word planets. Look at the other things in the, I don't know, dome. I have taken photos of out of focus Jupiter.
Okay.
Right? It's by accident. I just start filming and my camera just goes out of focus, but then I turn my back on it and it's out of focus. There's nothing I can do. But you can see the true, I don't want to say shape, but you can see that it's a thing that's, out there.
Okay. I'm going to show you.
Whether it's in the dome or not, it is out there. It's a thing that we are looking at.
All right. So you see these objects I have on the screen right here?
Yeah, I see them.
Okay. Which one's a sphere? Which one's a ball?
Probably 1, 3, and 4. Maybe all of them even.
All right, let's
perspective or camera angle or pixelated or all sorts of stuff.
All right, so we'll just watch here for a second.
Right? So our spheres? How would we know? What if I told you that there is only one object that is not spherical? Can you tell what it is? Can you tell you it is? Please look at me carefully. Here is the only object that is not spherical here. Here it is. I bet you thought there'd be another one. But it will blow your mind if I tell you that the second object...
Oh, those aren't photos. They're actual things on the table. That's not what I was expecting.
Look at that one. Look at that one. Look at that one. That one right there was completely flat. That one right there was complete, but it looked like...
That's why I said perspective. I mean, you can trick the eyes so easily. I do understand that.
Yeah,
I do understand that. But do you think every single one? I mean, I have heard the argument that, why are the continents differently shaped, or why are the colors different, or why are they adding clouds? Which, I give you guys this one. NASA has a lot of money. They should be able to just take the photos, and share it to you guys without adding clouds. I mean, it's ridiculous. Just if there are no clouds, there are no clouds. There's no reason to add clouds.
So you see this?
I have taken so many photos.
Sure. All right. So wait.
And they never are the same.
This one over on the right, of course, that was a half ball. That's easy to be tricked by. This one here really screws people up because a lot of people say, yeah, I think that one right there is the sphere. And it's the one that ends up being flat. But it gets worse. Watch.
I do understand that.
Worse.
I do see where you guys are coming from.
How about this one? This is the only spherical object. You can have an oblate object and you keep it spherical as well. So looking at something round does not mean it's a sphere.
So that's that. So you can understand where that's coming from. That you can't just assume. You see, now we the pictures that we get, of course, as you just pointed out, from like NASA and that kind of shit. Those are so enhanced, so photoshopped, so made and dressed up to make so that you're thinking planet in your head. But when you actually get a photograph of one of these things, you don't get the quality, you don't get the detail, nothing like they have at all. And so it's easy
Actually, there
for us
is
to
a
go,
guy on Facebook who does astrophotography,
mhm,
and he does stacked photography. Look, I don't have a telescope. I'm just using my
right,
Samsung Galaxy, you know. So I'm not one of those fancy dudes. I'm just
right.
doing my thing. But
I'm
these
not even,
guys, they got the, they got the equipment, and
well,
they are
that,
taking really nice photos. Like, they are taking these photos that, you know, supposedly doctored by NASA or whichever other agency.
mhm.
But these are just normal folk who just went out and bought themselves a telescope and the software to do these things,
The
and then take these
software,
photographs and do
the
that,
software,
and show us what they are getting.
the software that they're using. Okay, let me tell you something about these things, man. When you get those little fancy ass computers, uh, telescopes, you hook them up and you can type in a coordinate and it will find the star and track it and all that, and it comes up on your computer screen. That is being enhanced by a computer program. Another thing we have to look at too that's going to fool
But
you
you are
is that,
pointing, sorry, you are pointing your telescope at that thing.
right. All right. So now we have to understand the image in which we're looking at too. All lenses are convex. All lenses, and the mirrors that they use are concave. These give an effect of a sphere or a round appearance, like a
No,
funhouse mirror.
I
Oh
don't.
yes,
I mean,
oh
you're
yes.
saying that my Samsung Galaxy's camera is also set up to make things look
No,
like
no,
spheres.
not no,
I
not
don't buy that
that's
one,
not what I'm
darling.
saying.
I'm
And you're not.
sorry.
What if you
That's
got a
way too much. That's
wait?
even way
What
too much
spheres?
conspiracy for
Wait,
me.
what? Hold on, Sal. What? Forget that. Just you're really using these. See, you know who gave you that word conspiracy? Is the
Yeah, the
CIA.
internet. You
No, the
know.
CIA gave that to you. The Central Intelligence
No,
Agency.
I'm South
Yes,
African.
I
I am not. The
know.
CIA will never influence me. Oh my God, no.
Oh my God. Did you
Yeah.
really
Oh my
just say
God.
that? Did you really
it's
just
a.
say that?
It's a. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that's
Am I
where
not
that.
allowed to
Listen,
say God?
Sal, I can tell you
Sorry.
right away, and
I apologize.
I can tell you that the CIA is who coined the term conspiracy theorist to make it look like anything that so that anything that they label conspiracy is automatically thought to be crazy. Now, the reality of it is this came out of the whole woodworks when Kennedy was assassinated. There were people
Oh
that
my
had a
goodness, that's like long before my
yeah,
time. Wow, I
yeah. Me,
wasn't even
well, it's a
born
couple
when he
years
was
before mine
assassinated.
too. But listen to me, why they did it? Because there were people that had theories that there was a conspiracy to assassinate the president. That it wasn't just an organic lone gunman. That there was an orchestrated plot. There absolutely was. And so what they did was to obfuscate from that was they put their own conspiracy theorists out there with
I do believe
outlandish
that. I'm
ideas
sorry
to
to
make
say.
it look crazy. Okay, so this whole thing was born out of the CIA. And yes, I'm sorry, dear, the
I do
CIA
believe
has
that he
influence
was
in South Africa. Absolutely 100 freaking percent they have influence in South Africa. I can
in
guarantee
the
you.
apartheid times,
Now,
or
even now,
now.
even
Now I
now.
wouldn't be surprised.
But yeah,
But I don't
they've
like to
always been in there. In fact,
talk politics of my country because it's very bad.
yeah,
I'm
that
sure
whole Kruger,
Flatzoid told you all about the load
yeah,
shedding here.
that whole Kruger thing was that's all through the Mandela Kruger thing. That's all through the CIA. Trust me, man. There's not a Western country that's not touched and influenced by us. Trust me, they're not.
Yeah, you have
I
your
mean, we're
dirty
terrible.
fingers in
We're
everything.
terrible. We're
Sorry to
terrible.
say. Yeah.
So you got to be
I'm
real careful
sorry.
about that. But you know that,
Americans are
yeah.
awesome, but the government of America,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
they leave a lot to be desired in the, what is good category.
I love my country, but I hate my government. This is just where I'm at.
Well,
You know,
maybe you can have a good conversation with Flatzoid about our State of the Nation address last week. Immediately after the president was announcing that load shedding is going to end and everything, they put us on stage 4 load shedding immediately. So that's how, I mean, he lied straight to our faces.
well,
It was
that's what they do.
horrible.
Politicians, that's what they do. They're just puppets. They're puppets.
Yeah, you know, I
blow your
feel that
mind.
if we do away with politicians, you know, that those guys, they usually lobby for things that they don't even care about. You know, things that don't make sense. But here's a thing that should make sense that they should do, but they won't give it any attention. And then over there, you'll see them doing something, you know, weird and unacceptable.
Well,
But here
once
in front
you,
of your face, they're telling you how good they are. Listen to me, guys. We are awesome. Look what we're doing. But we're not
all
doing
the
anything.
listen, Sal. The whole thing about it is that I'm gonna blow your mind here. We've been under a one world government since at least the late 40s, with an illusion of international sovereignty. That's for real. That's a whole
But
nother
is
rabbit
there
hole to get
international
into.
sovereignty? I mean,
Yeah, it's a whole
there's
nother
you know,
rabbit
we
hole
have,
to get now.
there's
But
just way too many people to control now. 8 billion people.
that's why they're
It's
trying
too
to.
much.
That's why they're trying to call us. But here's the problem. Here's one of the biggest problems that we have, especially with this, is if you're looking in the sky, like I said earlier, to determine the condition of where you stand. And I'm glad you brought up the pool table, because the balls on that game are all round. And what are they played on? A flat level table. So
That's
just
only
because
because if you play it on any other surface, you're not going to be
yeah,
able to play pool.
right.
I
So
mean,
the
that's to
point
just
being,
keep it there.
the
Otherwise,
point,
it was going to find its level.
right. The point
I'm
being,
sorry.
you understand the point being though, is that just because the components of that entire game are spheres does not mean that the game is all a sphere. And that's the same thing here. If I'm looking in the sky to determine where I'm standing, that would be like me. I want to see if I've got enough gas in my car. So I go and look and see if my front porch light is on. It had
No,
one doesn't
no.
really
So how
have
I
anything.
gauge? Can I tell you? Um, so when I wake up in the morning and I look out at the sun rising,
Uh-huh.
I on the earth, me on the earth is on the opposite side of the sun rising. And
Okay.
as the earth turns, rotates, as that sun appears to move across the sky, me with the earth is moving. And
You're
when I
moving.
see the sun setting on the western horizon, I'm now on that opposite side of the earth. And the earth is rotating. How else is the sun going over there and coming over here, west
Well,
to
it's
east?
what
I
I was
need
just
an
trying
answer. I
to.
understand. And
Okay.
I hope that, you know, you and I can talk some
Yeah,
more.
yeah.
We can
I'm
have
gonna.
maybe a discussion. You know, you can explain to me
All right, that's what I'm gonna do.
how I am not seeing what I am seeing, and it's what you are telling me. I need, in order for me to go that route and try and understand what you are saying, I need to see it. And that's
Okay,
why I chose the sun,
I'm
right?
going to do that here.
That's the reason I chose the sun, because all of us do see it, but
All
we're
right.
not seeing it. Well, I'm not seeing it the way you're saying it is.
Okay.
You see,
So
that's my concern.
when you see a car coming toward you, getting bigger, and it gets right toward you and then moves away and goes down the road, it's the road and the world and you weren't moving. The car was moving, right? The car went by. The earth didn't go by. The car went by, right? You're not feeling any movement. Now, you just explained you watch a sunset, right? So you got to believe
And
that you're
sunrise.
watching.
Don't forget
Okay,
sunrise.
all right.
Sunrise.
And a sunrise. So when you're watching that sunrise, you are moving toward the sun faster than the speed of sound. And then when it goes,
That doesn't matter. Why is the speed a problem? Velocity is not a problem. We are born on this earth. That's why we move with the earth. We yes, we have independent movement, but not off the earth. No matter where you go on the earth, you are still moving with the earth. Do you understand that point?
No, I understand what you're saying, but it's basically, why do we not? You're saying that I'm moving at 1,000
we won't
miles.
feel it, darling. I don't understand where you guys got this thing that we should feel it.
Why wouldn't
we are born on something that's moving already.
I don't think you really take into appreciation the amount of movement that is actually going on.
I actually do.
Okay.
I do understand, it's moving at the equator at 1,600 kilometers per hour, and
it's not just that. Watch this.
66,000 miles around the sun, and that is a gross simplification and misunderstanding. That's not true in reality. It still takes 24 hours, in your case, for the sun to go around the earth. It still takes 365 days for the sun to, come back to its original position from where you started your calculation. It's still, it's still doing all of those things. So that time must be taken into consideration.
The speeds are still the same speeds. 1,000 miles an hour in a luxury cruise ship is just the same as 1,000 miles an hour in a rowboat. You are still subject to the same physicality that take place with that motion. We are not
that's
traveling.
Something that's happening on the earth.
Let me. Well, it doesn't matter. The speed is speed. Motion
we
is
are
motion.
Talking about the earth itself.
Yes.
Not what's happening on the earth.
Do you see what's going on this screen right here?
I do. I've watched this video a lot of times. It comes up a lot by flat earthers who want to say all of these numbers.
That's
the numbers don't scare me at all.
There's no numbers involved there. You understand that the movement with the sun is perpendicular to the other rotations and orbits that we're doing. Okay, these are perpendicular to one another. Those aren't the only three motions that we're dealing with.
Yes.
Now there
are hundreds of objects, thousands.
If you're going down the highway in a car or whatever, you don't feel any movement. Shift lanes, you'll feel movement. Put that car in a loop, you're going to feel movement. Okay?
Yeah, because from what I understand,
rotation is acceleration. Rotation is acceleration.
No, it's not. It is acceleration. Otherwise, it would be the same word. No.
No. Because in order for there to be rotation,
acceleration is you picking up speed.
No, or maintaining speed. Can you just push
acceleration is not maintaining speed.
When you're going down the road in your car, do you have to hold your accelerator at a certain position, or can you just push it once and then your car just keeps going until you hit the brakes?
No, but the accelerator is not acceleration. You can't conflate the two. One is the actual equipment that you are using. The other one is the velocity that you are going.
What does the accelerator do?
It allows you to accelerate. But it is a piece of equipment.
So once you're at a certain speed, you have to maintain acceleration in order to maintain that speed.
Not necessarily, because the Earth actually speeds up and slows down in
What
its orbit around the sun.
Well, that's even worse. Do you realize
Why?
Well, here's why. Because you're going approximately Mach 88. Any shift.
How do you know it's a wait? You don't like measurements, but you know that the thing is going Mach 88. I've never even heard about that before.
67,000 miles an hour.
Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with that speed. It's.
Do you realize how fast that
thing
is?
is giant.
It doesn't matter. 88 Mach 88 is Mach 88. That's 88 times the speed of sound. That's a velocity. That's a measurable velocity. And if that
and there's nothing wrong with it. That's the thing. That's the velocity we have to do in order to orbit the sun in only 365 and what
you
days.
Just said it's not constant. So we would feel the deceleration and acceleration.
It's not that much. It's so minuscule. It's
what are
negligible.
You talking about? It's not that much. If you're going 60
it's
miles
not that
an hour,
much.
If you're driving down the road at 60 miles an hour and you slow your car down to 50 miles an hour, you're going to feel the deceleration. Just like when you speed it back up, you're going to feel the acceleration. So if the Earth is
I think if you actually paid attention to, okay, I know maybe you don't like the numbers, but I've been, looking, I use time and date, and my GPS is constant. That doesn't change. Mm-hmm. And where I take the photo from does not change. Mm-hmm. But what changes is the position of the sun in the sky.
Of course.
How?
Going to, because it's constantly moving, and it's moving in a spiral between the two tropics. So of course
did you get this from Ross? No, don't tell me the sun is moving in a spiral.
It is moving in a spiral.
No, it's not moving in a spiral. Come on, sovereign soul. It's not.
Well, wait a minute.
Oh my goodness, no.
How else does it get between the two tropics in such an orderly
fashion? It's the Earth in its orbit around the sun.
We've no proof of anything orbiting the sun.
Then how do you get an analemma?
Because the sun's circuit becomes smaller as it goes toward the north and becomes larger as it goes to the south. Yes, if you were on a sphere,
but you said I must do my own observations, right? And my observations is not showing this.
If you were on a sphere, it would be equal.
It will be what? Sorry, I missed that. It's starting to rain harder again.
Would be equal.
No, it's not equal because the Earth is tilted.
What does
Remember that 66.6 degrees that everybody loves?
Well, sure. The non-existent
That's the tilt of the Earth. And it's not a straight ball. It's sort of like lopsided a little bit.
According to that tilt, that means that I'm actually 3 million miles further away from the sun during my summertime than I am in the winter. Does that make
sense? You got it, baby boy. You got it.
3 million times.
You are exactly. Like now, we are having summer. Okay, in December, we were closest to the sun.
Sal, when does it
because of your tilt.
Sal, where's going to be warmer? Closer to a fire or further from a fire? Closer to the fire, right?
Is your ass facing the fire or your face?
You're not listening.
Is your backside facing the fire or is your face facing the fire?
Okay. When it's hottest here, I am the furthest from the sun.
Yes, because you're
hottest in Virginia. I am
because you are facing the sun in your tilt. That tilt causes you.
So if I tilt my head right now, if I go outside right now and tilt my head at that degree angle, I should be able to get that same warmth, right?
No, because you are still 3 million miles away, further away. I don't know how many you are now.
I'm 3 million miles closer.
Yes,
according to
but your
the
ass is facing the heat, not your face. Think about your body
Wait a
as
minute.
the
Wait a minute.
sphere,
Where
right?
did you, wait a
Not
second.
all sections of your body gets the heat from that fire. There are parts of your body away from the fire.
So if I stand 3 feet further from a fire and tilt my body just right, I'll get the warmth.
No, you won't. You'll get the same amount of warmth.
No, I won't. It's going to be colder. It's going to be measurably colder. It doesn't matter how I tilt.
But
It's
where
going
are
to be
you going to
measurably
measure?
colder.
Right, it's going to be colder on the part that's facing away than the part that's facing towards.
All right, wait a second. I don't think you're understanding this. So you're saying that I'm going to, even though I'm further away from the sun, I'm getting measurably warmer to the point where, I mean, huge degrees of difference in temperature. Warmer.
Yes.
No, that doesn't make any sense at all.
Okay.
That makes
Let me
absolutely
put it
zero
to you
sense.
like this. Can I put it to you like this? So you and I are standing face to face, right? We are standing face to face.
Mhm.
Trust me, that is not the picture that you are showing is not what I'm seeing in real life.
How do you know what you're seeing
It's
in real
not.
life? Wait a second. When
Because
have you
it's
ever been
not
above it?
circling above my head.
How do you know that?
It's
Everything
going
is
down
circling.
below the horizon.
No, it's going into the horizon.
No, how can the horizon is the land, like the edge of the land that
wait
you
a
can
second.
see?
Is the horizon physical or optical?
Oh, don't start that nonsense with me.
No, that isn't nonsense.
I'm not gonna have that argument because there's a certain point where things disappear beyond the horizon.
Yes.
It doesn't matter whether it's physical or philosophical.
Yes, it does.
Things disappear beyond
No,
it.
it absolutely does matter. It absolutely does matter because you're claiming that things are going behind a curve. That would
No, I
indicate
didn't say anything about a curve. Nobody said anything about a curve.
All
We
right.
were only talking
Then
about the horizon.
all right. So then how does the sun go under a flat plane horizon? How does
I
it
have
go?
no idea, darling.
No,
That's
it
your
doesn't.
idea. I need you
doesn't.
to explain it to me.
You
Because
have to
I'm
let me
telling
talk.
you,
Sal,
okay,
Sal, you have to let
in
me
my
talk.
observations, right? In my observations, because remember, Flat Earther said go do your own research. In my observations, the sun disappears beyond the horizon in the western skies, right?
Right.
And appears again from below to above the eastern skies.
It doesn't come from
So
below.
if
It
in
comes
your
from
flat
beyond.
earth model, things are spiraling above,
Yeah.
tell me. I need to, I mean, this what you are telling me, I'm not seeing in real life. Maybe I need, I don't know, the glasses
Well,
from
it's
They
because
Live or something.
I think what it is because you're trying to hold on to a belief rather than actually
No,
thinking about it.
no, don't
Yes,
accuse me of
absolutely.
that.
No, it's not an
I went
accusation.
out and
It's
done
true.
my own research. Come
All right.
on.
Well, I don't know. You won't. You keep not letting me talk. As soon as I start to make a point, you jump in as to why it's wrong without listening to the entire point. Because you've already come into this with the complete concrete belief, and it is a belief. It has to be because it's scientifically impossible that you're on a ball. Now you keep using this thing of things are going over the horizon. No, they're going into the horizon and they're emerging out of the horizon as they get closer to you. Nothing's going anywhere really except out of your sight. That's the only thing that's happening. The same thing.
All right.
any
I'm there
object
with you. It
with-
goes out of your sight. I'm there with you. How does it come back into sight?
Okay, watch. This is how. This is how right here. Let me grab this up here. Now this is by not an actual model or anything, but it's for demonstrational purposes. All right, watch what happens. Now, here's here's the thing. As this is doing this, and of course these aren't right to scale, but as this is doing this, it's going around and around until it gets here in June, where it's at the Tropic of Cancer, and then it starts to spiral out. It's just like how a record works. Okay, if you ever played a record on a turntable, the stylus moves, right? So imagine it's going between three different tracks, back and forth. As it's going, it's spiraling, and it spirals back out so that it can meet these different areas. This is why our equator is the warmest place. It's receiving more daylight, more sun than any other portion of the earth is getting. All, because every 3 months that sun is right there directly over the equator, every 3 months, and then traverses back and forth. Now what happens is you stop being able to see it due to your perspective. The sun is, by the comparison to the earth, is small, very small, and the moon the same. Okay, and you're not Superman, so you're not going to see it forever. The trick is that people are using Euclidean two-dimensional geometry, an orthographic third-person perspective to try to describe a sunset. But it's not, because we don't see in two-dimensional orthographic Euclidean geometry. We see in 3D perspective, a hyperbolic state. Okay, so parallel lines are going to converge in the distance. All parallel lines are going to converge almost into a cone. It almost comes down into a cone, if you will. And so due to our limited perspective and the size of the target object, the sun, we have to get out of the idea that it's this magnificently huge, gigantic ball, almost 1 million miles in diameter, 93 million miles away, and all this other nonsense, when every indication of the way the light behaves is that it is rather close, not 93 million miles away, and it is local and small. The whole idea of this giant...
How do you explain anti-crepuscular rays then? Sunbeams.
Well, that's
and then
obvious.
How do you explain dusk? Is dusk because the sun went, I don't know, on its spiral?
Actually, what dusk is going on there, daylight and sunlight are actually two different things. Although the sun does cause daylight, the daylight is not the light of the sun. The daylight is actually the
oh my god,
it's just fluorescent.
I'm sorry.
All right, so in the daytime wait a second, in the daytime when it's cloudy out, right, you don't see the sun at all, do you? Right, you do have daylight though. Why is that? It's because the gases in the atmosphere are fluorescing. They glow.
No.
Yes, they do. They glow when they are exposed to a positive electromagnetic field. I can do this with a plasma ball and a fluorescent light. I can just get near it and the thing lights up. Why? Because the noble gas inside is reacting to the positive
you know what? When you said you were going to talk to me, you said that I was very excited, but I didn't actually realize how many things it takes to explain your guys' side.
Whoa.
It's so
Hold on a minute.
much.
Wait a minute.
I mean,
in order to have a globe, you have to go against physical science. You have to incorporate belief in place to explain away physical scientific impossibilities. Okay,
why is it a physical scientific impossibility? Where did you get that from? Because
it's real simple. It's real simple. It's nothing difficult about it at all. The first and foremost thing is that you cannot have a gas pressure system without containment. That's first and foremost. Secondly, balls of gas. This is why I don't use the term atmosphere, because gases do not form shapes unless they're in a container, and then they assume the shape of the container that they're in. Same thing with water. This is all part of fluid dynamics. These things cannot exist outside of containment. A vacuum or a near vacuum is also scientifically impossible without containment. Gravity, a theory, a very flawed theory at that, has been taken as a fact and ascribed to other objects that we see in the sky. We've taken an assumption that everything orbits around a sun, which there is no proof of. None. Okay. So you're telling me I have a lot of things to explain, when in reality, in order to believe you're on a globe, you have to go through the most complex mental gymnastics and defying of physical reality that there could possibly be. You have to show that water can indeed adhere to the outside of an object, even when in motion, and assume its shape. We can't, there's never been any proof of that either. It's all through.
But there is.
What proof?
There is. I mean, we've got the ISS going around the Earth every 90 minutes. You don't believe in the ISS either?
There's something.
Or is the ISS also spiraling the Earth like the sun and the moon?
I don't know what the ISS is or what it's doing.
Oh, come on.
But I can tell you this, it's not in space. Do you want to know how I know that? Entropy.
Entropy?
Yes.
Entropy?
Yes.
The amount of energy available to do work is what?
No, you're only taking a portion of that. You're only taking a portion of the entropy. Okay? It is physically impossible to have gas pressure without containment. This means that in order to get out of the gas pressure that we're in, one would have to
sorry, 1 second. To address your people in the chat, I understand everything you're saying. Right? I understand. I understand. You are explaining everything perfectly. There's nothing wrong with the way you are explaining it.
Mm-hmm.
My only issue is what you are explaining to me, I'm not seeing when I'm looking outside. That's my only
you're not
issue.
Hold on. You're not seeing gas pressure requires containment? Do you have propane tanks?
I am not seeing
on your car?
The sun going away and spiraling back to me, and
yes,
the moon, like the little video you showed with the sun and the moon on the opposite sides, going around and around. Sometimes the sun and the moon are, almost on top of each other in the sky.
Yes.
From our perspective.
If you remember, I said that it's
so. Where's that in the model?
So I told you that's not a model. I was using it just for a reference to show you movement. That's all. I'm not showing you the whole thing. I explained earlier that the stars, the constellations in our sky, are turning east to west slightly faster than the sun. And the sun is traveling a circuit that is going east to west, right? And it's going slightly faster than the moon. The moon's doing the same thing. And every 28 days, the sun laps the moon and we have a month. And then we're also, every 28 days, the stars have shifted into another position. So we're in another zodiacal sign, right? So this is why every month has a zodiac sign. Every month or moon cycle, it counts that it's a big clock. That's all. You do see it doing that. This is why you have an equinox. That's why you're in summer right now, because it has spiraled out to its further edges and it's on its way back in, away from the Tropic of Capricorn up toward the Tropic of Cancer. it'll soon be over the equator. And then you'll start experiencing fall where you're at. I'll start experiencing spring where I'm at because the sun is closer to me. I'm going to get more hours of daylight. You're going to get shorter hours of daylight just based on where the position of the sun is at. That's all it is.
Okay, so what causes your days then? Your actual day, where you see the sunrise and then you see the sunset, and then what causes your day?
It's usually derived by a sunrise and a sunset, the same as it is everywhere.
But how?
mean how?
If the sun is spiraling in and out of your view, up and down over your tropics, so what's causing your actual day?
What do you mean?
Because in the globe Earth model, right? In the globe Earth model, the Earth is actually traveling in its orbit around the sun, and that's what causes you to have the equinoxes and the solstices. Now, on your model, you say that the sun is spiraling up and down, but then what causes one day?
Not up and down, in and out. The tropics.
So okay, not up and down, in and out, like from the middle of, or closer to the middle of the flat surface towards the middle, and then towards the outer, and then towards the middle, and like that. Is that what you are saying?
Right. That's over the course of a year.
Okay, so what causes one day then?
One circuit of the sun. One circuit of the sun.
Where?
Over the
one circuit of the sun.
Earth.
Where?
Over the
like space. Around the whole entire Earth.
Yes.
So the sun travels all around the Earth in one day.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
What do you mean no?
No, that's not what I see.
Do you somehow have longer 25 or 26 hour days where you live or something?
No, we have the same amount.
Okay. So the sun still moves at 15 degrees per hour, right?
So the sun has two motions. The one that causes the one day, and then it's got its whole over a year cycle.
Right. It's a circuit. It's just going around in a circle, going around in a circle, going out to the tropic and then back into the tropic, and then back out to the tropic and then back into the tropic.
How big is the flat Earth?
I don't know. I've never measured it myself, but at the equator, it's roughly, we've got a circuit roughly 24,000 miles in diameter, roughly. It's actually, what, 25, something like that, or close to. Anyways, that's what gives us our 15 degrees per hour, which of course, 24 times 15 degrees is going to give us 360. So it's the same. It's 1 year, or 1 day rather. It's no different. We haven't.
I guess I would have to just carry on making my experiments. I'm sure to find.
Well, I think if you're
what you are talking about.
If you're going to try to determine the condition of where you're standing by looking at shit in the sky, you're already lost. Okay.
Well, I can't look at shit on the ground, can I?
Sure you can.
Because I am on the ground.
Sure you can. Sure you can.
No, me and the ground don't move.
Well, that's right. See? But there's supposed to be convexity, isn't there?
What do you mean?
There's supposed to be a ball, right? There's supposed to be curvature, right?
Well, according to the model, there is.
Okay.
Not.
So that would be.
I'm in the mountains, so I don't have good opportunities because everything is hills and valleys.
Right. So yes, we live on a level, stationary topographical plane. So what you'd want to try to do is see if you can find some convexity. convexity to the earth. The best place to look for that is at the ocean, at the water, because water is always what? Level, right? We use water to level things. In fact, 71% of the earth is said to be water, and it's all level.
No. The whole level thing, I went and borrowed one from somebody.
Mhm.
And this place that I live in is incredibly unlevel.
Yeah.
And yeah, obviously the people who were building it didn't care too much, you know.
Yeah, it's called topography, right?
No, I'm talking about this actual floor. Never mind
Well, no, then it
topography.
was
This
built. Yeah.
actual floor.
Okay. Oh
Yeah,
man, you'll have to fix that then.
yeah, it's horrible. It's everywhere is like 1 millimeter off from the from the place next to it.
I don't know if I can bring
It's
this
not
thing
good at all.
up. I might be able to. I don't know how I can't bring it up on my phone anymore. Bill. Anyway, the so you'd want to look for convexity. So 71% water of the earth, it's level. Water's always level when it rests. Of course, we have waves and things like that.
Sorry, while you are, can you tell, I'll tell your people, I didn't come here to shut up. You know, Dave invited me here to speak with him. We are talking together. So you just hop in the chat right now and tell me to shut up. Now, what's the point of the conversation then? I can go.
Yeah,
I'm trying to understand your point of view.
I would pay very little attention to the chat.
No, it's rude.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand that your side has animosity, but that is not my problem.
Right. I don't let it get me flapped. I run into the shit all the time and I just let it go. Okay. I stay engaged within the conversation. So as I was saying, we would want to check for convexity. And several times we have. In fact, that convexity should be at a rate of 7.9 inches per mile squared.
No.
Yes.
No.
What do you mean? No.
It's not mentioned. It's not measured in inches. It's measured in degrees. Curvature is measured in degrees.
Right. Which would
not
give
inches or miles.
Yes, it is actually, because you can.
No, and you got that from that guy Robotham, where he read the wrong line and just decided to go with that, and nobody corrected him. No, it's measured in degrees.
No.
1 degree per 111 kilometers. Oh,
okay,
wow. I'm having such awesome lightning right now.
But what is that?
There's awesome lightning.
So that would equate, when you're looking at distant objects, right, to a certain amount of that object being hidden by curve. Are we going to measure the amount of the object hidden by curvature in degrees, or are we going to measure that in units of measurement? We're going to measure it in units of measurement.
Depends which
right?
units of
and
measurement.
So when we calculate it out for that, mathematically, it's 7.9 inches per mile squared, up to 1,000 miles. This will give us, minus the observer height, or dip angle, as they like to call it. Okay, we can tell how much of the object would be hidden by the curve.
Yes, I did this experiment myself.
Okay, so we don't see that. We
do see it.
We see too far.
First, we don't see far enough. Now we see too far.
No.
Come on, guys. I don't know what to do now.
I think it's because you keep interrupting.
I'm not interrupting you. I mean, I have to understand what you are saying.
Okay.
I did the experiment. Only 5 meters was hidden from 12 kilometers away.
Okay.
It's a gentle curve.
It's a gentle curve.
It's not a sharp bend.
It's a gentle curve. It's 7.9 inches per mile squared.
A
Okay.
gentle curve is 111 kilometers equals 1 degree.
So the Earth's much bigger.
The Earth is like 40,000 kilometers around.
Okay. So we still need measurable curvature, and we don't have it.
I mean, you have the Chicago skyline. What do you mean you don't
Yes.
have it?
That's
You have
exactly
Tampa
what I
Bay.
mean. That's exactly
I
what I
have the
mean.
Hillbrow Tower from bloody Santon.
Honey, you shouldn't be able to see the Chicago skyline. You
Why
shouldn't be
not?
able
It's
to
only
see it.
59 miles.
You
59
should
miles is
not.
like
All right. Well, let's pull up a curvature.
very
calculator.
little compared
got
to
a cur-
40,000 kilometers.
Okay, I have a curvature calculator here. Let me bring this up. Where is it? I know I got it on here somewhere. And where the hell is it?
No,
There it
don't
is.
show me any other people's videos.
It's not a video. It's
No,
not
no,
a
no.
video.
Somebody is writing, show her Rob and Rick's video. Don't even know who they are.
Right.
wanna
Well,
watch
why
the
would it matter anyways? You know, if it's information, it's information, right? Do you think people
I
are
don't
out
know.
there
It's
trying to
probably the
fake this
same.
shit or something?
Look, I'm really struggling to understand. That's
see
it.
that. I see
I'm
that.
struggling to understand the spiraling sun and the, I don't know,
Wait a
the
minute.
dome or
You're struggling to understand something simple and basic while entertaining the most ridiculous stretch of the imagination possible to incorporate.
no, you see, that's the thing. I'm looking out. You guys said I must go and do my own research. When I look out there, I'm not seeing
Hold on
it.
a second. How is looking at the sun going to tell you the shape of the Earth?
How
Unless
is
you
it
assume,
moving?
you're assuming that it's going over a curve. You're assuming that it's going over a horizon. You're assuming sphericity of the Earth. Everything that you have is an assumption based on something that is not the Earth. You understand?
But in my observations, right, I don't see
Oh.
this. That means the Earth is like, I don't know, a coin flip or something.
What do
Is
you mean
it
a coin?
flipping?
Why would it flip?
I don't
You gotta get
know.
out
I
of this
can't
idea.
see
We're
your
not
model.
in space. We're not in space. You got to get off that idea that we're in space.
Where are we then?
We're on Earth.
Where is the Earth?
Right here, the center of creation.
No, what I mean is like, where is it?
What
Like
do you
there's
mean? Where is it? It is where. It is the where. It is everything. We are the center of creation.
so there's only one.
Yes.
I'm sorry. That just came out. I'm sorry.
Yeah, there is only one Earth. Yes.
No, I know there's only one Earth, but what I mean is like there's only one of this thing that the sun and moon are circuiting.
As far as we know, yes.
And the other things are also circuiting us, they whatever they are.
Yes.
No, don't show me Dirt's video. Please. I'm already dealing with Dave. This Dave is nice. I can talk to you all day. That's not my problem.
No, I mean you gotta
My
get out of
problem
the
is
assumption.
No,
we've
I'm not
all
making
been,
any assumptions. I'm telling you what I'm seeing.
well, you're telling me what you think you're seeing. You're not.
Nah,
really
you see
telling me
now.
anything. You think
Nah.
you see the sun.
So now I must go by what you think you see.
No, I'm looking at common sense and reality. Okay, we're looking at common sense and reality. Not
I don't believe in common sense.
You don't believe in common sense?
Absolutely not.
Why?
With the way the world is right now, I don't believe in common sense.
So you don't have any.
That you can go out and learn.
You don't have any common sense.
I have acquired knowledge, I would say, from experience and other things. I don't think it's common sense. I had to learn it. It doesn't.
Wait
It's
a minute.
not
Wait, so you had to
intrinsically
be,
part
so
of
a
me.
lot of things. So a lot of the things you had to be told. How did you
No,
verify?
I had to learn. I
How did you
wasn't
learn it?
told many things.
How did you learn it though?
Experience.
Okay, so what experience of watching the sun tells you that you're on a globe?
The sun disappearing on that end and appearing from the bottom up on the opposite end.
Okay, and how does
So
that
it's
mean that
either
you're on
that
a
thing
ball?
is going under your earth, or me, I'm turning with the earth.
That's all it can mean.
Yes.
That's an assumption.
No, that's not an
That-
assumption.
no,
It's an
that is
observation.
no, it's an assumption based on an observation.
No. That's just the observation.
No, it's an assumption based on an observation. You assume that it's going over the horizon. You assume that
But
it's
I don't
going.
have evidence to the contrary
You don't have any
because of
evidence.
what happens
Wait, you don't have any
afterwards.
evidence to support what you believe.
No, this is not belief. This is based on what you told me I must go and look outside.
Right. Okay. So, what about that? Told you that it was going around a ball and not just
I
going
told
out of your
you.
sight and coming back.
That's the baffling part. You're not telling me how the sun comes back to come up from below or
Okay.
away from the. How does
All
the
right.
sun get from there to there? Never mind under or over or what.
All right.
Just
all
tell
right.
me how the sun
Goes
gets from there
around
to there.
it goes around in a circuit. I want you to. Have you ever been to a racetrack? I want you to
I've
imagine.
seen them on TV.
All right. So you've seen a great. All right. So I want you to imagine a great big huge racetrack. Okay. Great big huge racetrack. And you're standing right there and you see this car, it comes by you, zoom. And as it goes away, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller and goes out of sight. But this circuit, this track is a big, huge circle. And so as far as you're concerned, that car is just gone. It's out of your sight. And in your case, it went over a curve. But in reality, it's making a left-hand turn, right? It's making a left-hand turn. And it's going to come back around pretty soon off to your left down the same track. You just watched that car disappear over the curve in. Here comes that car, is going to come right up out of the horizon, get closer and closer, and zoom, it's going to go by you and do the same thing. And lo and behold, it was the same car. It didn't have to go around a ball at all in order to run back to me
This car
at all, right? So it didn't have to do any of that. The assumption, is based on it's because
I think
now,
that
I'm going to tell you, it's basically this is shit that you've been told, and you're incorporating it into a belief system.
No, you keep telling me that I've been told, and I
Okay.
haven't been told these things.
Well,
I've been
what
told
made
by.
Then why not
I'm
think that it's
looking
just
at
flat?
it.
And why wouldn't you think it's just flat then and going around like this? What would make you think it's a
Because
ball?
it's not doing that in my observations.
How do you know? Once it's out of your sight, you're not observing it anymore, are you?
Exactly, but it's coming back on the opposite side.
Just like the car. Just like the car did.
But it's not above the horizon. It's not above. It's where is it?
It comes out of the horizon.
It comes out of the horizon.
Right. You can't see forever, Sal. You have limited vision.
Okay, I think I've had enough of this. Can we take a rain check? Because I haven't even had supper yet and it's 9:20.
Right on. That's fine.
Yeah.
I'm in the evening is the show. So we made a special
Yes, I
thing to do.
really
that's in the
appreciate
daytime.
that.
Right. So I think what you're doing though, Sal, is you're taking an assumption based off of, and yes, you were told that the Earth is a ball. You were told that. You did not come to that idea on your own. No one ever.
But I don't
would.
remember it, so I can't hold those people responsible.
Well, it's because you were
Now,
little. We all
listening to
were.
flat earthers and doing what the flat earthers tell me to do, I'm not seeing what they are telling me is happening.
Well, you're never going to come to a conclusion looking at things in the sky.
Okay, so how do I believe you then?
Well, you don't have to believe me. You already know it's flat. You have to get over what you've been brainwashed into. And
No,
trust
I
me,
don't
you
know
are.
that it's flat at all. I don't
Sure you
see
did.
any
Everybody does.
indication of it.
Sure, everybody does. You have to
Okay,
be
what
told
about
it's a globe. You
what
have to
about
be told it's a
elevation
globe.
then?
What about
What about those people who say they've measured the arc of the parallel and things like that?
I think they're probably full of shit. That's why. I don't
You
know.
think every surveyor is lying?
No, but I know that surveyors use plane surveying. They don't use a curved earth. They use a
Yes,
flat
because I
base
mean,
plane.
you're building over a 10-meter squared place
Mhm.
compared to a 40,000 kilometer place.
Mhm.
It just doesn't make sense to use the whole thing.
Well, of
Why
course
would
not.
you do that?
Well, you want to be
Yes,
accurate, right?
yes, your person November. I love their name. November. That's a fucking awesome name. Sorry. That's so awesome. They said you can't see the curve. Absolutely. Looking for the curve. You're not going to find it because you can only see indications of the curve.
Like what?
Like the hidden of the Chicago skyline or my Hillbrow Tower or peaks. I think
Don't
they
you
love
realize?
to use the
Don't you
globe
realize,
side,
Sal?
love Mount Rainier.
Sal, don't you realize though that many of these objects that we're seeing across vast distances shouldn't be able to be seen at all?
Why not?
Because if you're on a ball, they would be around a curve, and you can't see around physical curves, man.
If the objects are taller than that curve, like the Hillbrow Tower was only 5 meters hidden from I was 12 kilometers away.
Yeah.
I'm
The
gonna go do that
Chicago,
experiment again.
the
I'm gonna
Chicago,
make my hubby drive us down to Joburg again. I want
Chi-
that. I didn't realize we could see that tower from so far away.
the Chicago skyline should be completely hidden by curvature from that observation.
Why is it more than 100 kilometers away from
Yes.
that space? That's
Listen,
only 1 degree.
the whole
Only
thing,
1 degree. Have you seen a
the
protractor?
whole
It's 1
thing,
degree.
the whole thing should be in view. It should be hidden. We
No,
see.
the whole thing shouldn't be hidden. No.
Oh my God! I don't.
Did
think
you watch
understand.
Red's blink test of Tampa Bay?
Yes,
That
I
was
did.
awesome also.
Yes, and I blew that shit out of the water and showed how he faked the shit.
He
and
didn't
deceived
fake
everyone.
it.
Take a look
No,
at the
he didn't fake it.
Sal, listen. Look at the photograph carefully, and I want you to look at the bottom portion of the building and compare it to the rest of the building, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. There's a reason he
did.
flashes it.
Yes, he
Just so
has
that-
to because that's what a blink test is.
Yeah, so that you don't pay attention to detail. When you look down at the bottom of that building, you're going to determine that the people inhabiting those floors are 3 times bigger than the people on the other floors.
What people? I never saw any people. It's too
Oh
far
my God,
away.
the windows are 3 times the fucking height.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
The windows in the building are 3 times the height what they are at the top of the building, because you're looking at a reflection because of the mirror line of the horizon.
Oh, I'm so sorry to frustrate you.
You're
So
not frustrating me.
I'm
What
gonna go
frustrates me
now
is that
and let you just relax for the rest
No,
of
no,
your
no.
Sunday.
What starts frustrating me is that you keep interrupting me with no in the middle of what I'm trying to say.
No,
I don't
I'm
do that
just
to you.
shocked.
Notice that I've not interrupted you. I've not done any of this. I let you finish talking, and then I make my point, or at least I try to make my point. You
But
see?
I do know what you're saying. I mean,
So
I don't
I've
think
already
you.
read
I
rhetoric.
think you've explained to me quite succinctly.
Red's
what's going
rhetoric
on.
is a charlatan. Okay, I've had him on this show before, and I told him that he was using assumed values in his calculations. And I showed exactly where he was using assumed values in in his calculations. Now I can tell you right now that a 3-foot wave, a quarter of a mile from you, with a telephoto lens, can block a 250-foot object 25 miles away. A little 3-foot wave can block a 250-foot object 25 miles away. It's a thing called
Wow.
foreshortening. All right.
Is my laptop okay?
So the bottom,
Excellent.
so the bottom line to this is that when you look at these long distance photographs, and they should not see the objects at all due to the amount of curvature that should be hiding the distant object, this tells us that there is no convexity. The only
It's only
place that
1
anybody
degree.
got that convexity idea from was that they were told this. No one would ever think this on their own. No one would ever think that on their own. For
But
any
I mean,
reason.
what do you think a protractor is?
Of the who?
The protractor. You know, the thing that measures angles in
Oh,
degrees. Is that
Oh.
also not real? Must I also throw that in the garbage?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You know, that little instrument, it's like a half moon with the numbers on it, 0 to
sextant.
90.
Yeah,
No,
this-
a protractor. It's a little thing that you get in a mat set.
Oh, a protractor.
And just for your listeners,
I got
I
a
am listening to you.
I got a protractor. Shut up, dog. Yeah, I got one right here.
I don't have my mat set yet.
That's what you're talking about right here, right? Right, Sal?
Yes. What
Yeah.
about that?
What about it?
1 degree. One
Yeah.
degree of that
Yeah.
equal to 111 kilometers.
Okay. So degrees measure both straight angles and arcs. Arcs are measured in degrees, and so are angles are measured in degrees, but arcs are not angles and angles are not arcs.
Okay. My family is asking me to come have supper, so I'm gonna have to go.
All right.
They waited for me, but this was so awesome. You have no idea. I know that your people are accusing me of not listening to you, but actually, I think I behaved myself very well. Now I'm hearing, but not. I'm listening, but I'm not hearing. So I heard everything you said, and basically, you've told me things that every other flat earther talks about.
I don't think
And
you're
I
really
still-
listening, though. I don't think you're really listening, though. I think that's
Yeah, I understand your explanations. I just don't see them in my observations. If I can't see what you are saying in my observation, how must I go along with it? And to your chat, yes, I've heard all
you
about
understand your observation
things.
consists of looking at the sun. Okay, we all see
And
this.
everything else around it.
And making
I'm
an
not only
assumption-
looking at the sun.
and making an assumption based on a predisposed idea. So
Aren't
you're
you
not-
doing that also?
No,
Because I mean, you are
I used to
taking all
be a-
these
I used to
ancient
be a
ideas
Glober,
and bringing them to
Sal.
the fore.
Sal, I used to be a glober.
Sorry, you used to be a what?
A glober. I used to believe in the globe. I used to believe in space. I used to believe all that nonsense. You know what happened?
And then what happened?
I had to reevaluate it and look at it from square one. That's what I
Why?
had to
Was
do.
there something like drastic? What happened?
What do you
Like,
mean,
I
what
mean, you don't
happened?
have to tell me your story, but
Oh, well,
it must have been really bad.
no. Why would it have been really bad? Once
I
I
don't
discovered
know.
that I'd been lied to about so many things, and somebody came to me with this, and I said, "You're full of shit. There's no way the Earth's flat. You're crazy. Everybody knows it's a globe. That's what we learned in school. Look at all the scientists, blah, 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 blah. The same shit, right?" So I decided I'm going to put an end to this. Okay? I'm going to see, what are they talking about? So I looked at their points and I started evaluating them. And I started going, whoa, wait a second. There's something here. There's something here. So I watched 200 Proofs the Earth is Not a Globe. And I'm like, holy crap. This is some big shit. So I embarked on making some of my own tests and checking some things out for myself. And I could not debunk it. I found so many flaws in the heliocentric model, so many scientific impossibilities that we just glossed over and took them for granted in lieu of thinking, oh, someone way smarter than me already figured this out. And it's like, no, they didn't. They just made this shit up. They made this shit up. I'm like, none of this
All
is
right.
true.
All right. It seems like we are at an impasse. I'm going to go. And obviously, your peoples are going to give you the win. I
Well,
will give you the win also.
it
Because
wasn't about a win though, Sal. We were
I
having
think
a
it
discussion.
is. I think you can have this one for yourself.
Okay,
Because
I
I
was
came
looking
here
at it
to
as a
hear,
discussion.
actually, I wanted to talk to a flat earther,
Hmm.
and I got to talk to you. And I hope that I was respectful enough, even though I
Sure.
jumped into, you know, tell you that that's not what I'm thinking, actually.
Right.
um, yeah, this was awesome. I
There's
hope
a
that,
link. Real quick, Sal. There's a link Austin Murphy just put up right here. Check that video out. 200 proofs. I mean,
yeah, I
it'll
know
make you
Eric
think.
Dubay. I've,
It'll
I've
make
come across Eric Dubay.
it'll
I've
make a lot
checked
of
out
sense.
some of his stuff.
Well, that by far is one of the best, and I often recommend it to people. Look, just take a look at it, and you got to go into it without bias, because if we go into it with predisposed assumptions that were given to us, and they were given to us, then we're going to look at these things from that perspective instead of going, okay, I'm going to just go, I'm going to act like I just got here. I'm going to be just like I just got here. I don't know jack shit. Forget what anybody says. I'm going to make my own determinations. Let me see what is going on here. Do I see convexity? Is it possible for me to have a gas pressure without a container? Is it possible for me to have water stick to the outside of an object and adhere? And of course, the various arguments that come up, like gravity and everything. Now we start exploring into that. And you start finding all of the little holes, and you go, wait a second, wait a second. This doesn't seem to be what I have been told. And believe me, we have been told. Because, like I've said before, you could go wait till somebody was 15 years old, never tell them that they live on a ball, never tell them any of this nonsense, and then try to lay this shit on them. They'll laugh at you. They would completely laugh at you. Why? Because they've had time to develop critical thinking skills. They've had time to have observations and experiences. And then you come to them and tell them about, we're moving at this speed and doing this, that, and the other, and orbiting and corkscrewing and all this shit in space and all these fantastical stories that they tell us. You'd laugh at them. You're going, man, you're off your meds. What the hell? Where'd you come up with that nonsense from? That's exactly what would happen. This is why they lay this shit on you when you're a little kid. This is exactly why. Because if you told it to a rational thinking adult that had with critical thinking skills before you've implanted this in their brain, nobody's going to fly with it. Not a single person would. So that's where you really got to take a look at it. And yeah, you can look at things in the sky and they're very interesting and everything, but that's not going to give you any more indication as to where you're standing than, like I said, checking my neighbor's pool to see if I got gas in my car, you know?
Yeah, no.
One doesn't
I
have shit to do with the other.
Yeah, that's very interesting. So I hope that you have a awesome Sunday. I know that you usually go on later.
Yeah,
Thank
I'll
you
go
so
on tonight.
much for squeezing me in. I mean, Sundays are precious to a lot of people.
Sure.
Like, you know, a lot of the people around here get to rest only on Sundays. They get that day off. I said I wasn't going to be working this weekend, but I did end up working because the guy who usually relieves me on the weekends, he needed the weekend off. So basically, I've worked 2 weekends in a row. Not too bad. So
Sean,
now,
I'm going to address Sean Hawkins here for a second. Everybody
oh,
knows
is
that
he here?
oh yeah, Sean, everybody knows it was you. I set the debate up. You fucking pooched it, bro. So I'm not afraid of you. If you want to debate, set one up, my man. Ball's in your court. I already tried it. You pussed out and then tried to turn it around on me. That's usually what you trolls do. And I've got your map for you, buddy. We can talk about some maps because I found some real shady bullshit going on with maps, Mr. Hawkins. Some real shady shit. Make it real easy to confuse people. But anyway, yeah, I would suggest if you get a chance though, Sal, check out that 200 proofs. Just watch it unbiased, listen to what's said, compare it to your own experiences. And, if at the end of the day you still think you live on a spinning ball flying around out in space and all that, then hey, more power to you. But I've come to find that that's not the case. And it kind of changed my world, really changed my world. My whole outlook on everything changed. It's amazing. But, well, I'd
Well,
like
I'm
to thank
glad you found your freedom.
hell
That's,
yeah.
you know, um, my freedom is waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning to go look for Venus
There you
and a
go.
crescent moon and things like that.
Hey,
Like
so
it started out, um, you know, doing my own research in big air quotes,
what do you
but
think?
now I do it because it's so much fun.
Let
Um,
me ask you something, Sal. This is something now. I'm almost 60, man, and I've never had until just this year ever seen this before in my life. Right? A smiley face moon, a crescent moon, but like a bowl. And I've seen it about three or four times so far. And I'm like, I've never seen the moon look like a bowl, doing this instead of being up on its side like that. It was like, I guess they were calling it a Cheshire cat moon. But I've never seen that before. Have you seen that?
I don't pay so much attention. Uh, I think my position on the earth doesn't really let me see that unless I've got to probably time it or spend a lot of hours looking at it. But I'm sure I can find one because of, how everything appears in the sky.
Hmm.
We bound to see one. Mine is
Yeah.
usually um, sort of like from up to down. But what I
Right, right.
have noticed is that lit part of the moon, that crescent, will follow the movement of the sun. So as you watch that crescent, it sort of like rolls over, with the sun. I have a couple of videos. If you want, I can send them to you.
Yeah. My email's right there on the um, little crawl going across the bottom of the screen.
I see it. I see it. If
Yeah.
you don't mind, I can send you some of my observations just to look at.
Yeah.
I mean,
That'd be
I'm not
fascinating.
looking
Yeah.
to change anybody's minds or anything.
Mhm.
That's not what I'm here for. I just wanted to understand your perspective and tell you a little bit about mine.
Well, it's been a pleasure to have you, and I hope you'll look into those things. And by all means, do send me those. I'd be interested in checking them out. Um, like I said, check that over and be careful about placing assumptions. It's hard to do. People often do, but these like placing the assumptions into your observations. You have to be careful. And believe me, you didn't come to the idea that you live on a globe on your own. That was given to you, just like the
Yeah,
rest of
but
us
where
grew
did
up.
those, even if it was given to me, where did those people, I mean, we are talking, a lot of
Watch,
thousands
wa-
of years ago.
Not really.
If you
Not really.
mention Hermes, isn't Hermes like BC guy?
Yeah. And there was a cult of sun worshippers that followed along in his footpath. There were also a few Greek dudes hanging out, not working, talking about bullshit in a bathhouse. And that is not the consensus of the Greek people, whatever they may have thought or postulated. This is a big trap. They've known the earth is a globe for thousands of years. No, they have not. This has only been a big push in the last 500 years, and especially due to the Reformation of the 1500s. I just did a video. If you get a chance, Sal, check it out. It's called the Jesuit Connection to the Heliocentric Model. You really get some fascinating information on it from that. So yeah, it is basically a resurrection of an ancient Egyptian cult into the modern times, and it started with Copernicus and Newton and some other people that were obsessed with this philosophy. So yeah, that is something that you want to really definitely look into. And then when you figure out the reasons why, and you start postulating on reasons why, and also evidence to show these reasons why, it really starts to open your mind, because it is definitely, it's a war for your mind and your spirit. It absolutely is. And one of the best ways to do that is to lie to you about when you are, who you are, and where you are. And you have been lied to about all three of those things.
All right. Um, so you must enjoy the rest of your day,
All
and
right.
I'm gonna go to bed now.
All
Oh, I
right.
still damn! It is 20 to 10 in the night, and I am working
All
tomorrow.
right.
So
Well, go
yeah,
get
thank you
yourself
so
some
much.
sleep.
Maybe drop me a line on Messenger, and
Yeah.
maybe one day you can come onto my channel. I
Hell
have
yeah.
a YouTube channel, and um, yeah, we usually just ease into. We don't have live streams for like arguing with people.
Right, right,
We
right.
also just chill and just discuss things.
Mhm. Well, King Shin here says that he loves your voice. So,
Oh wow, thank you. I really appreciate that.
all right, then
So,
we'll see you the next time. Hopefully you'll come back, or I can pop onto yours. And you have a great evening. And tell your family I'm sorry for holding you from supper.
no, my family was looking forward to me talking to a
Oh,
flat
good.
earther. They know that I've been looking forward to something like this for years now.
Right,
And yeah, you've been very kind, not like many of the flat earthers I actually come across on Facebook.
right.
And yeah,
Oh,
no,
that
we need to show each other kindness no matter what we think or believe. That is my motto in this life. So,
it's definitely a shit show over on Facebook. It's like I see that somebody will come up and I'm like, what the hell? Why are you so angry about this for? It's like if you've already lost your temper, then you've lost the argument. I mean, you don't really have anything if you're getting that mad. If you get that mad because
yeah.
that tells me that you're not very confident in your beliefs, you know?
Yeah.
All right.
All
Well,
right.
have a good
Thank you
day,
so
Sal. We'll
much.
see you next time. All right.
Bye.
Bye. All right. Put her back there, and I don't know if she's figuring out how to get out of there. So I'm not sure what her channel is. I didn't get a chance to ask her. She's Sal Chetty on Facebook. Um, I just ran across her. It was one little post and said, I would like to talk to a real flat earther. And I was like, okay, I'll do it. When? And then they told me they were in South Africa. And I was like, oh, okay. So I got to get on Flatzoid time. And so I set it up for early enough where she'd be able to join and everything. Up until now, I wasn't even sure if it was a guy or not, because I wasn't sure if it was Sal or short for Salvador or Sally or or what it was. So I didn't want to go through that. Lord knows we've had enough of misgendering, so to speak, on this channel here in recent days. with our good friend Brenda, who seemed to be another who protested way too hard. Another one that protested way too hard on behalf of someone who was defensive after not being accused of anything in the first fucking place. So that was kind of weird. But anyway, we have to be wary of that. I have to wonder why people like that are always wanting to have access to kids. You know, it's just my thing. But anyway, I hope y'all kind of enjoyed that. I didn't know really what quite to expect. Seemed to be at least pretty civil, unlike many of them that we run across. But I can also see that there's a lot of observations being made with assumptions thrown in, and that's where we got to be careful. If you go into it with that, it's a predisposed notion. The best way to look at it is though you don't know jack shit about nothing. Okay, here I am. I'm on this place. What's it look like? Okay, what am I observing? Right? Start looking at it in that respect. Take it all. Forget that you about space, all that shit, and compare the two. And when you get right to the very basics of it, you find that we got some problems, Houston, real bad. So that's pretty much where we lay with this shit. Anyway, we'll be going again tonight, our normal time, 9:35. How can you do an unbiased observation of something that you think is a physical impossibility? I didn't always think it was a physical impossibility. I had to figure that out. I had to go, wait a second. There's some shit they glossed over a long time ago that I didn't pay any attention to that seems to be a key element here. Okay. So my initial observations into this were of an unbiased nature. But as I keep going, I find more and more inconsistencies and problems with their entire thing. We got that idiot Sean likes to show up in here. I finally just blocked him. I'm tired of his fucking ass. He's insignificant. We always wanted to talk about a map and a model and all this other shit. And it's like, wait a minute. Are you actually, what are you doing here? We know that these ocean miles are based off of not distance calculations, so to speak, but stellar observations, but we're using statute miles on land. And we've got, why don't we just use nautical miles every fucking where then? Why not just make that the standard distance? Right? But they don't. They go from switching back and forth from one to the other. It's the power of pseudoscience compels you. I already did my observations, Mr. B. Okay. I've already done my observations. Okay. I don't need to do that again. I'm not on the fence. I mean, now I'm just taking it, and I do look at it like that, but knowing full-fledged that the globe Earth is a scientific impossibility, of course I'm going to go, fuck, no, it's not going to happen. So anyway, I want to thank everybody for showing up at this early hour. It's early for me anyway. And we'll be back again tonight, 9:35 Eastern on Sovereign Soul Unchained Mind. Hope to see you all there tonight. Not really sure what we're going to get into, but it'll definitely be something. We know that. So we always like to say, Lord loves a working man. Don't trust Whitey and see your doctor and get rid of him because he'll probably kill you. And join us again tonight, 9:35. I'm coming live high above your imagination in the international fake station. And I got my little friend back here, my Chinese handler behind me. He's a nice guy. So y'all have a good night.